me? Good afternoon, everyone. Want to say a very big thank you to you all for coming to this special occasion. Yeah. We'd like to welcome you all to this special occasion. I'm sure you all know why we're here today. Do you know why we're here today? Can someone tell me why we're here today? It's going to be an interactive session. Why are we here today? Okay, who knows the name of the book? Well done. Celebrate yourselves. You all look amazing. You look beautiful. Thank you all for coming tonight. And it's going to be a very impactful session. To God be the glory. So please, housekeeping rules, please. We do not want people moving here and there during the session. Please, let's be orderly. And then at the back there, we have the food. You know, if you feel like having a drink or snacks, please feel free. And then over there to my right hand side, we have the book stand as well. So please feel free at any time, any given time. So please go there, make use of the book stand, purchase for your loved ones, for your family. We know that people will be blessed after reading this book by the special grace of God. And then as you come in, please kindly register. This is very, very important. You have to register yourself. So if you're seated here and you've not done your registration, please kindly do so, please. And then if you need to use the toilet, it's just around the corner. So please, we want everyone to feel free during this session, and we do not appreciate any movement here or there. Thank you so very much. So my name is Morade Ondada, and I'll be anchoring tonight's session. Thank you very much for having me here. So I'm going to be introducing our sponsors. We want to appreciate them. Thank you for being a partner, you know, to this great initiative. And the first person we have here, we have the Thriving Together community partner. If you're here, please let me see you. Let's appreciate you. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate her. Thank you. And then we have the Vibing Moments. That's the media partner. Please, let's appreciate them. They're over there. And then we have the Soteria Consulting. That's the consulting firm. That's they're over there. Please, let's appreciate them. And we have lastly, obviously, M1 Events, you know, so let's appreciate her wherever she is. Thank you so very much. So please feel free, relax. You're in for a good session. All right. Open your heart to receive, you know, everything. All the speakers are professionals, and we have parents as well. I'll be coming upstage, so please encourage them when we call them upstage. So now to begin, we're going to be calling on the wonderful woman that God has used to bring this platform together. So we have to celebrate her. Please make welcome in our usual way, Mrs. Eniola Oyegole. Please, let's appreciate her. She's the brain behind this initiative. So please, we want her to walk in majestically, you know. So she's going to come here majestically. So please, you can do better. Please, appreciate her, appreciate her. Thank you very much.
Hello everyone, good afternoon, and hello to our friends online. My name is Eniola Oyegule. I'm thrilled to have you all here. Like, this is just amazing. So I'm not going to spend too long. We have a very packed agenda. So good afternoon again. It's truly an honor to stand before you today in a room filled with individuals from different sectors. I know a lot more people are coming, and fellow parents who know firsthand the joys and complexities of raising children, much like those with any form of additional needs. Today, as I reflect on my journey raising two sons who are both neurodivergent, I'm reminded of the transformative power of challenges. Parenting children with developmental delays and neurodivergence has been my greatest challenge and also my greatest triumph. It might sound like, how is that possible? But it is possible. This led me to write a book titled A Champion Speaks, My Son's Journey to 10 Years and Thriving Beyond the Label. And in that book, I narrate the journey of raising my first son, starting the story initially with his speech delay, and other challenges which we experienced along the way. I concluded the book with strategies to support child development in the home. The story is one of honesty, is one of vulnerability, and is one of hope. And the only motivation for writing this book is to inspire and empower those on a similar journey. After this speech, you will watch a short video we have of the reviewers from those that have read the book. And you will not believe the book was just published on the 15th of December 2024. I'm amazed by the impact that the book has already started to make. You have the chance to pick up a copy of the book at the book stand anytime during the event. Back to my story. When it dawned on me that my parenting journey would be different, it really felt like the ground beneath me had shifted. I initially felt ill-equipped to handle what was ahead, and I faced an uphill battle against uncertainty. But through my family's 10-year journey and collaborating with many others who supported us along the way, some of whom I referenced in the book, I found purpose. And I can stand here before you, not just to talk about the book, but to talk about a community which we also formally launched today. The community is called Thriving Beyond the Label. We have some of our members here. Shout out. They are part of us. And that community was formed as a safe space for parents and carers with similar experiences, raising neurodivergent children. The community's mission is simple. Is to facilitate ongoing dialogue between parents and carers and the professionals that support them to promote knowledge sharing. Hence, you find a blend of audience, and it's good to also have some children here. Sorry for relegating you to the back. We have a blend of audience here, parents, professionals across different sectors, and a cross-section of society who are represented here. I believe that every child is unique and therefore can thrive if our focus is on identifying and leveraging their strengths. For those that are on a similar journey as mine, you have the opportunity to be part of this community by filling out a registration desk, filling out a form at the registration desk just on my right. For those on the online viewers, you also see a QR code to join. We'll provide more information of some of the community activities shortly after my speech today. This event is the first of many events to support this community of wonderful individuals in the hope that we can make all our respective journeys less burdensome. People say parenting comes with its own set of challenges. I agree. But raising a child with any form of additional needs is an experience like no other. I'm sure many of you can attest to this. And so we have a panel of parents who are going to share their lived experiences. Please clap for them when they come. It's not easy standing here. They will share their experiences, and I trust you all to applaud them as they share. I have learned to celebrate all victories, even those that look small and others might overlook. In my book, A Champion Speaks, I highlight this, stating that our children's win is a win for us all. Now, if I had the chance to add, I would say our children's win is a win for all of society. This change in perspective has transformed me, and I believe it's a mindset we all need to embrace as a society, to celebrate each child, indeed, each individual's unique journeys and strength. There are professionals in this room. You will also hear from some of them shortly, who will be joining us on a panel discussion. Society as a whole plays a vital role in the village required to support our children. Professionals, you are the lifeline for families like mine. I recall moments when a teacher's patience, a teacher's understanding, or a therapist's dedication helped my son to achieve milestones and develop key skills, some of which are recorded in the book. The challenges we face as parents and carers, they are not obstacles. I can say this in retrospect. This was not what I said at the beginning, but I can encourage you that they are not obstacles. They are stepping stones to purpose. Through my own parenting journey, I have learned that my role is not to fix my sons or to make them fit into a mold. My purpose is to help them identify their strengths and to help them hone these skills to live the life they were called to live. Beyond raising my sons, I have now entered a dimension of purpose I could never have anticipated. I mean, look at me here. I would never have imagined. Well, here we are. If someone had told me 10 years ago that my son's journey will lead me here to inspire others. I would have said it was not possible, but I'm here, hoping to use my family story to turn pain into power and challenges into change. I encourage you all here to look within, as I know there is something we can all do to support each other. I believe that is why we are all gathered here. I commend you for being a part of today's event. I mean, a day after Valentine, coming here. I commend you for joining us. We need allies in government, we need allies in the marketplace, and across society to really understand our plight so that together we can champion a world where labels do not limit potential, but the community fosters resilience, and every individual is empowered truly to thrive. And as I wrap up, as we leave here later today, please don't go now, later today, I urge you to find your village. I encourage you to celebrate your efforts and remember that every step forward, no matter how small, is a victory that must be celebrated. This message is to parents raising children with additional needs. There's no victory that is not worth celebrating. For the professionals supporting us, I urge you to continue to lead with empathy, with innovation, and collaboration. Your work is not just a job. It's a mission that shapes lives and futures. I thank you on behalf of all our families here for your dedication. I call our children champions, but so are you. Your labor over our children will never be forgotten. I hope we can continue this journey after this event. Like I mentioned before, I hope that we can have more of this in the future so that we can ensure that every individual can live to the fullness of their potential. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the lineup we have for you today.
Please, let's appreciate her.
Son was born in December 2014, so he's going to be 10 in just a few days, I would say. A few months ago, I was reflecting on his journey. You know how it is when your child is, about to like clock a milestone age, and you're just reflecting. So a few months ago, I was just reflecting and thinking back about my son. I call him a champion in the book, just to mask his name, but I'm sure most of you that know me already know the son I'm talking about. So I was just reflecting on his journey, and I was really just grateful to God. And I remember that I kept like a journal of like notes of his early age, his early stage, the challenges we had with development, especially in the area of speaking. He didn't speak on time. So I was just reflecting and looking at those journal notes, because I remember when I kept those notes at that time. The motivation for keeping those notes was that when he's clocking like a milestone birthday, like 10, I will give it to him. But there was just a talk in my heart that no, these notes are not just private. You have to share it with the world. And I was like, share what with the world? It was really, when that desire came for me to write this book, it was really difficult for me to accept. But I knew it was something that needed to be done, because all around us, we know neurodivergence is very prevalent. So in a way, this book is like my reflection of everything that has happened in the past 10 years.
The Champion Speaks. I really like this book. What particularly stood out for me in this book, and what I feel like the unique thing about this book, is the authenticity and the rawness. And I feel Eniola Oyegule has passed a very powerful message, and she's been very vulnerable doing it, in the sense that she didn't filter at all. She laid it bare as it is, and I feel like the way this book has been written is going to help a lot of parents in this world, particularly parents with neurodivergent kids, because at the end of the day, when people are going through a particular journey in this life, when they know someone similar is going through the same exact journey, it makes it lighter, it makes everything easier for them.
Talks about the challenges and the triumphs of raising a child with autism. And she shares incredible milestones along the way, and also included the skills that he learned, life skills really, and each chapter brings a new reveal. And she even writes him a heartwarming letter that he would find very useful in life when he grows older. What stood out for me was her vulnerability to share, and I think that comes from a place of strength, and being able to want to help people in similar situations, not because she knows it all, but because she feels it and she's able to share things that worked for her and are still working for her. I would definitely recommend this book, A Champion Speaks, to teachers, to schools, to various kinds of authorities, to churches. It should be in the library. So yeah, I hope that you get this book. I hope that you gift it out, and I hope that it brings you encouragement. Bye.
This age and time, the book is also unique, not just for its structure, but the raw vulnerability is so beautiful. It provides practical strategies and parenting guides and insights into what Eniola has learned from her own journey. The book is not just a memoir, it's a testament. It's a toolkit for every parent, every caregiver, anyone raising a child or hoping to have children in the future. It's a guide that provides you with hope and advice. He also emphasizes the need for flexibility, the beauty of embracing the differences, all while advocating for an inclusive and compassionate world, is what makes this book. Champion Speaks is a must read for anyone.
It's a book broken down into two parts, where the author Eniola gave us insight into what it was like raising her child from the point of where he was diagnosed to how she ensured that he wasn't living based on that label, and all of the challenges and mistakes really that she made along the way. And the second part really is just a guide for any mother, carer who is currently on this beautiful journey of raising an amazing child who the world terms as neurodiverse, but who Eniola has said really can't thrive beyond the label. And today she has a son who is a living testament of what it looks like to be relentless and never give up on your child. I really implore anyone to pick up this book, read and understand really what is possible while raising your child. So I mean, beyond the child learning, getting professional help in the different places that are available, but I mean, it's also what can be done from home, from learning to brush your teeth, learning to ride a bike, learning to swim. These are the things that I mean parents grapple with for children who are neurodiverse, and the children have been able to overcome. So it's such a beautiful read. I implore you to get a copy, gift a friend, gift a school, gift any institution that you know that this book would be beneficial to, and it should really form part of your library. I hope that you have an amazing read, and God bless you.
The Traveling Beyond the Label community. I encourage parents on this journey to sign up and join us. You can go to achampionspeaks.com. On the website there's a form there to fill, and this is for parents and carers on this journey. No matter where you are on your journey, no matter the age group of your child, we have the community comprises of parents and carers that have children with different age groups. Being part of a community is very important too. It is extremely, I encourage you, please, even if you feel like you're even winning. In fact, I even want parents because I've met a lot of parents on this journey that are winning with their children. Come and teach us. We want to learn. I want to learn. Forget that I've written a book. I need help, and that is the essence of the community. And the idea behind the community is a safe space for parents and carers. There is no question that is out of bounds. And on your parenting journey, there are so many dynamics. Beyond supporting your child, there is your mental health. I mean, how do you manage that? There is siblings, managing relationships, because the dynamics in my own family is different. Both my kids are neurodivergent, but we have families that we have a hybrid where they have neurodivergent children or children with additional needs, and they have neurotypical children. The dynamics of raising that kind of family is different. So any question that you need, that finances is a big thing. What kind of services are available in your local community? Any form of question. It can be you're even having challenges with your school, your children's school, and you are trying to advocate for certain services. How do you challenge them, strategically? We have a lot of people that have been able to fight the good fight, and they can help you. If it's also healthcare, questions, how do you really advocate for the services that your child needs? No question is out of bounds.
Author who has a community now where you're able to really just go on a journey as well with similar parents, similar carers. And I mean, on your journey, there may be parts where you feel like you need help. There's someone in that community who may be going through a similar experience and is able to guide you through it. So I implore you, do get the book, learn, and just be kind every day. God bless you.
Move on. So we'll now move on to the parenting panel. But we have few people that will be coming up stage. So when I call them, please kindly appreciate them. Okay. So the first person I'll be calling up now is Nelly. Please, let's appreciate her. She's looking gorgeous. Let's appreciate her. Celebrate her. This is for the parenting panel. Please, let's appreciate her. Thank you so very much. Yes. So Lily is a nurse and she's the autism advocate. Thank you very much. Can you have that, please? Yes. Thank you. So the next person I'll be calling on is Lavinia. Please, let's appreciate her. She's a media expert and she's also a parent. Welcome. Take your seats. And the last person here for the parenting one is Liberty. Mr. Liberty, let's appreciate him. He's a parent with lived experience as well. Please, let's appreciate him as he comes up stage. And now let me call on the facilitator. So, are you ready? Please make welcome Mrs. Eniola Oyegule. God bless you. So have your seat. Okay.
Good afternoon. Sorry about all the. It's because we are streaming live, we want to make sure the audio is captured. Okay, we're going to go straight in. By the way, the profiles for all our panelists are on the website, The Chaplain Speaks. Because we don't have a lot of time, we decided to do an abbreviated version by just introducing them. But I encourage you to visit the website, thechaplainspeaks.com/community to view their website, to view their details. So just relax. Thank you so much. The first question is going to go for every one of us here, starting with the lovely Lavinia. Can you tell us about your experience raising a child with additional needs?
Okay. Should I just speak loudly or? Thank you. Sorry. Hello. I think you need a little bit of background first. My son is just turned 11 last month. And he was diagnosed, we've been in the UK for 5 years. He was diagnosed at age 2 with autism. At the time, we didn't actually suspect that there was anything wrong. I am from Brazil. My husband is American, and we lived in Italy. So he was exposed at all times to 3 languages. So because he wasn't quite speaking the same amount of words as other children his age, the pediatrician suggested, oops, there you go. Pediatrician suggested that we have him sort of have a screening done, an assessment. They did a screening, and he was 1.5 at the time. They did a screening, and they said, you know what, he's got 3 languages, it's fine. There are no red flags. And we're like, but let's do an assessment in 6 months, because at 2 years old, we have a better idea, language development, how he's developing language-wise. And 6 months came, and an expert was coming in, a developmental pediatrician, and the developmental pediatrician said, okay, let's do a full assessment just because I'm here. I'm not always here. It was an expert that came into the clinic, an American clinic where my husband worked, every 3 months or so. So microphone is occasionally cutting out. I said, okay, well, fine. So they did that, and it came out as autism, and we were flabbergasted. Within 2 hours, it changed everything. We weren't expecting it. It was completely crazy. We had it repeated again in the Italian system, this time by an Italian doctor, and that was confirmed. And that's how our journey started at age 2 with him.
Hello everyone. Thank you, Eniola, for having me here and also for organizing this event. And I'm newly Filipino, and I'm a registered nurse, and I'm a mother of a child with autism. First of all, I would like to say I love my child more than anything else. However, raising a child with special needs is undeniable more difficult than raising a neurotypical child, because I have both. My mental health has suffered a lot, especially when my son was struggling with his sleep. When I have my son, he will only sleep 2 hours every night. I have to put him on my back for, like an African woman, to mother him until he sleep. And at the same time, I was in my journey to study nursing, so it was quite difficult. On top of that, I have to constantly struggle to get what I believe he deserves as help. I have to constantly advocate for him, for people, especially social health services, to make the right provision for him. Trust me, it's very, very tiring. But as I watch my son growing, I have to remind myself that it's all about love. With love, the journey becomes more like a natural process. Okay, thank you.
Hi. Hello, my name is Liberty, and I do have a son that was diagnosed with autism. And for me, the experience has been one of learning and growth, not just for my son, but also for myself, because that prepares you for the challenges that come with such an experience. And I say that from a position of having that fatherly attempt to nurture him through all the challenges that he has faced. And in that particular journey, I had to learn adaptability, resourcefulness, and had to learn a lot of patience and understanding to look at his experiences from a position of empathy and trying to understand what it is that he was going through and what it is that he was trying to communicate. So being a novice in this area, never having experienced anything of the sort, I found it particularly challenging and so being challenged and so being frustrated. It came from a position of you want to do the best for your child when you see them trying to communicate or expressing some level of distress, but at the same time feeling an element of helplessness. But you try to encase all of those emotions, that internal commotion that you experience really in a stoic exterior. You try to be a man, you try to be fatherly, you try to exude just a calmness, but that internal turmoil, that's very much existent. Exactly as Neely said, the sleep deprivation that not only your son experiences, but that also that you experience. And it's not just sleep deprivation, it's sleep deprivation coupled with stress, coupled with the crying, the screaming, the lack of communication. When you're trying to say, what can I do for you? How can I help you? How can I make all these problems go away as a father? But still not getting that feedback that helps you to assist effectively. So I found it, quite frustrating. I found it, quite distressful for me as a father, not being able to assist in a way that I thought was making enough of an impact. But throughout the years, I've developed more empathy, I've developed more resilience, resourcefulness in a way that I thought would best serve the interest of my son. So which is why I said it's been a journey of learning and growth, and that applies for my son as well as it was for me.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Liberty. For those that don't know, Nelly and Liberty are actually a couple. So both of them are raising Noah. Sorry for calling you. Yes. We're raising Noah together, and I really wanted to have Liberty here because, as you know, I think it's women that are more open to discussing these things. So I really want you to applaud Liberty because he's a solid rock beside me. It shows that you cannot do this on your own. It really takes. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for. Thank you so much for that introduction. So the first question will go to you, Liberty. The first question will go to you, Liberty. Can you share what prompted you? Sorry, can you hear us? Yeah. Can you share what prompted you to seek a diagnosis for your child?
I'll say.
What were the immediate signs that you saw that prompted you?
Thank you for that question. I'll take the first. The first prompt came from some of the, I'd say, for lack of a better term, differences that I noticed that my son exhibited from what I had anticipated for a child of his age. I have a big family. I have sisters and a little brother who themselves are children, so I've raised quite a few nephews and nieces. So there are certain behaviors at different stages of growth that I had witnessed, having been an uncle. So when my child was born and as he was growing up, when I started noticing certain aspects, when he kept repetitively acting in certain ways, and when he kept repeating certain words, that's when I did express my concern. And just to give a backstory, before that happened, when my son started developing an interest in, say, exploring the environment around him, he exhibited pretty considerable intelligence. And I'm saying that I know, his father, I might be a little bit biased, but he had a passion for numbers and mathematics and puzzles. So he used to be very, very much interested in that. And he used to read a lot. Every time we go, say, for example, to the laundrette, he would be reading all the numbers. And this was before he talked. He was very, very interested in that. He could do like 5 times table, 10 times table. And this is one of the things that he used to do that I had never seen before. And even I, as a grown man, he could recite the alphabet, from A to Z and from Z to A, and all those things that he was doing. And then right after that, when I thought, this is impressive, I was, proud of his father. And then that was promptly or swiftly followed by the repetitiveness that came after that, and the screaming, the shouting, the running around the house, the excessive distress. That's when I noticed that there was a stark difference between all the interest in books that he was showing before, and interest in puzzles and other activities that he was showing before, and what seems to be repetitive patterns of distress, crying, loss of appetite, whereas before he used to like eating. So that difference is what prompted me to delve further into what was going on.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Also, for the benefit of everyone here, we have a question and answer session just after, so you can ask questions. If you don't want to come up, there's a link on the slide that you can put in your questions so that we'll have time to go into it. So then you can next. I'll ask you a question. Just bear with me if I can find it. Thank you so much, Liberty. And I think it's working that we're going next to the. What advice would you offer to parents just beginning their journey? Can you remember at the beginning stages when you just got the diagnosis? Imagine the parents just going through that process. What advice would you give them?
What advice I'm going to give those parents who just have a diagnosis of it? I will say having a diagnosis can be quite overwhelming, and I personally believe that it's okay to grieve. You grieve because you want to process the emotions that come with the diagnosis. It's not like your child is dead. It's not about that, because mostly we hear about grieving because someone is dead. No, you grieve because of the lack of hope and the lack of also dream, the loss of hope and dream you have for your child. Because when the child is born, and like Liberty was saying, he showed all those signs of being intelligent. He was counting backward. When you say time is 6 times 8, when he was 2, he will tell you the number. You have hope and dream for your son. And when you hear that your son is autistic, it hurt, and then you want to process all that emotion first. I will say that parents shouldn't get too much stuck on that phase, because when you get too stuck, I know that you can get depressed, you can cry, it's okay, but you need quickly to stand up, and you need to become more resourceful. What is happening to my child? you need to research and also research not only about the condition, what type of help, what type of thing my son needs. You need to get up and come out and start that process. And also, you need to get involved with social and health services and ask for advice, ask for help to everyone, ask for help to community, because that's what we don't do often because of that stigma around the disease, around the condition. We are afraid of asking help. We need to ask for help and advocate also for our child. Every time we need to talk, we need to talk, we need to stand up and talk and ask, what next for my son?
In fact, I'm trying to write it, but I think I'm just abandoned. So many key things are just coming from this panel, nuggets. It's okay to mourn, but you need to get up and act.
Yeah.
So mourning is allowed, but don't stay mourning.
No.
You have to advocate for your services, Liberty mentioned. And still in that same thing of advocacy, we're going to be asking Lavinia, the next. Can you share an experience where you have to advocate for services for your child?
Yeah, this is, I think it's probably the most important question from my point of view. We've had, we're up to our third sort of challenge when it comes to advocating for my son. The first one I'll mention, but I won't go into it because I don't think it's as relevant to people in the UK. The first one was actually getting the services that he needs so that my son can actually speak. Just have a conversation like you and me. That involved, when he was first diagnosed, when he was still a preschooler. We went through ABA therapy, which is called applied behavior analysis. And it was quite a battle to be able to do this. And I sort of became a healthcare professional unwittingly. If you want to know more about this, I can talk to you privately afterwards. The second one happened when we came to the UK, and that's the one that I think would be most relevant to parents here. We arrived with a diagnosis from two different countries, from an American doctor, from an Italian doctor, and we arrived with years of applied behavior analysis and all of that, so much paperwork to document the fact that my son has autism and what he needed. We came in with a very strong understanding of what he needed in a school environment. He was, when we arrived, when he entered the UK school system, he was in year 1, at the end of year 1. And we told the school right away, we would like to apply for the EHCP. We didn't really know that much about the process, but we knew that it was the equivalent to an IEP, which is the American sort of, we knew that existed and that he was going to most likely need some extra support in school. And that was the way to do it in the UK. That's what my research told me. The school said, well, it's not really necessary because we're able to provide all the support that he needs within the school without this document. It's here we have an extra person in the classroom. Our, teacher-student ratio is good. We can provide all the support that you are asking for. And I said, okay, I'll give it a shot. And the time passed, and I realized that he needed more support than the teachers were able to give. And we started pushing. And this process took 3 years. And I would like to say that the school eventually sort of came around. They did come around to understanding that they really couldn't provide on their own the support that they needed. They did come around to that. But it was so slow, and they required so many different assessments, so many things that they said they required, but later on by law, if you just read the law, you don't need to be a lawyer. You just need to pull it up. It's on the internet. Just read it and you'll understand. It's not necessary. You have the right to ask for this. You have the right to ask, can you please come and look at my child? And I was told with no uncertain terms, and being a foreigner, not having gone through the school system, it was harder for me to understand, because I had to learn the very basics of the UK school system, having not gone through it, on top of, how to deal with a child with special needs within that school system. Eventually, we gathered all the evidence that we had from his diagnosis, and we asked the school for a copy of every assessment that has ever been done to him during the 3 years that he was at the school. We put all of this in a timeline. We made a PDF, like a giant PDF with everything in it. We filled out the paperwork online, and we sent it in. And even though to have him assessed for any HCP, and even though we actually we were told by several people that these things rarely get granted when they're started by a parent, that there is so much that you just don't understand about the system. There's just so much that that needs to be done to really support this application, that there's no way you can do this on your own. Not only did we do it on our own, but we got that EHCP without a single question. Without a single question. It was granted immediately. So you have the power to advocate for what you need and everything that you need to know. And it can seem incredibly overwhelming, the process, or understanding something, but understanding a complex matter starts with just a Google search. Just look for it, read that. That's going to raise questions. Then look for the answer to those questions, and start on that journey. And you have more power than you think you do. And we'll see how well I navigate secondary school place to now, which is our third challenge.
Sorry, I'm not to be biased. Please, we need to give parents a round of applause. I mean, you can tell the passion from the way you are doing that. And that's the kind of passion you need when you are raising children, much less trying to advocate for services like this. Thank you so much, Lavinia, for that. I'm sure that a lot of parents will be inspired to go out understanding everyone. Just go back to the question. So, we're coming back to you. In your experience, there's a lot of advice we want to give our parents watching, okay?
Absolutely.
In your experience, what can parents on this journey do to have a positive relationship with their child amidst all the challenges? Because I know firsthand how you relate so well with your son, both your sons. So how do you encourage families with a similar family structure where they have some children with additional needs and some without additional needs? How do you encourage parents to maintain a positive relationship within the family?
I would say I think it's more important to establish connection rather than emphasizing on correction. And what's also important is to establish a system where you celebrate those areas where there is progress, no matter how minimal, and establish a pattern where the child feels valued, accepted, and you walk with them throughout the journey, despite the challenges that they might face. Let them feel embraced, let them feel understood. And it is within that positive environment that their best version can be amplified. And I think one of the areas that, from my observation, I've noticed, and it seems to be a consistent theme more often than not, where parents forget to take care of themselves, self-care of the parents, because this can be an emotionally challenging and trying time for a lot of parents who might come into this unprepared. So you cannot pour from an empty cup. So look after yourself. Do not neglect your own self so that you can present the best version of you as a parent, adequately resourced emotionally and in every other way possible, so that you can pour the best version of yourself into the child and bring out the best that they possibly can. And do not hesitate to ask for help. We all need help every now and again, which is why I did say at the beginning, it's been a journey of learning and growth, especially for me. So in learning and growing emotionally, and also in knowing where the resources are, where I could get help, how I could plan around my life around my son, balancing appointments, balancing my work life and everything else that optimized the setting that my son was growing up in. I could then create the best possible environment for my family, and also so that my son felt understood. And that, in my opinion, mitigated against the distress that we saw at the genesis of this journey.
So many things. Connection over correction. Self-care. I mean, the queen of self-care then is on the stage. I mean, she's one of those people that has taught me the importance of self-care on this journey. Thank you for making that. So, over to Lavinia. We'll come to Lavinia now. You mentioned transition. You mentioned transitions because I assume that your son is in the middle of a transition to secondary school.
Yes.
What steps would you advise parents to prepare their children for transition, like entering a new school or adulthood?
I can't answer for adulthood because we're not quite there yet. I wish that I had a sort of a blanket answer to it, but I think my approach to it is always to be informed, to be as informed as we possibly can. And sometimes it's a race to understand it's a race to sort of understand in time what's involved in that transition. So it could be, so for us, and transition is important if you have a child who's neurodivergent. Transition is everything. I mean, it goes from that child who becomes anxious because it's about time to leave the play date, or, you know, you tell them you have 5 minutes and then they throw a tantrum when it's time to leave. You know, it's like, so you have to tell them, you know. we're going in 2 minutes, or you have to turn off the TV after one cartoon. You have to, so there's a lot of that when your child is younger. To then when they're older, you start to understand that anxiousness and that difficulty in transitioning comes from a place of comes from anxiety. So it becomes then managing that anxiety in your child. So is your child going to a new school? So are we taking a vacation? Is it somewhere new? And it's about, okay, let's talk about this. Let's bring up pictures of the place we're going on vacation at. We took my son loved everything cars, everything that had to do with cars. And we decided to go to Monaco, to the Grand Prix. Well, not exactly the Grand Prix, because that cost way too much money, but we went to one of the practice rounds, which children go in for free on a Thursday. And we were like, okay, let's go get on a plane. We lived in Italy. Let's go to Monaco. It's going to be loud. So we showed videos about, like, this is what it's going to be like. This is how many people are going to be there. This is how loud the cars really are. This is, would you like to wear this? And he loved it. He was prepared. He knew what to expect. So whether that transition is, getting your own apartment when you're an adult, or, going on vacation or going to a new school, it's all about managing expectations. It's about managing to us anyway, it's about managing his anxiety toward what to expect. So the more I know about the environment that he's going to go into, the better prepared, the better I can prepare him for that transition. And also, I feel like we need to manage our expectations as well. And there's that. It's like, if you expect, sometimes you do everything right. You do all this work, and you go, and your child still has a meltdown. And you need to be like, okay, well, this is okay. It's going to happen sometimes. No matter how prepared I am, he's still not going to be okay with it sometimes, just like we are sometimes not okay with stuff that happens to us. So a little bit of that.
Thank you so much, Lefty. Please just encourage our parents. It's not easy to talk about it. Encourage them. Thank you. Lily, as the queen of positive vibes. How just share some tips with our parents on this journey. What do they need to do to have a fulfilled life in the midst of all the challenges?
Yeah. Why are you calling me the queen of positive vibe? Yeah, I like, because of all those challenges, I like around me only positive vibe. Even when my friends are calling me, I always say only good news. No bad news, because I have already a lot of challenges in my head. Okay. I will say parents should not be worried too much about what people will think or say about the child with special needs, because we are in a society where people will always be shocked by what they call described as abnormal behavior. When our child are screaming or throwing tantrum, they will always be shocked by that, and they will always be shocked by other things also our children are doing around them. So what I'm going to say is parents with a child with special needs should connect with people who understand better the journey, those people who will uplift them, those people who can support them in time of need is really important. Because some people, they will not come to you because you have a neurodivergent child. They will say to you, they will say, okay, I will see you later. So you need to know how to connect with those people who can help you, who can even understand your journey. And you need also to use your energy to create moment of joy for yourself, and prioritize self-care. You know me about self-care. Self-care is very important. So I say to myself, only prioritize self-care around me. So I thought about initiative like Positive Vibe we was talking about, and it is a group I created to support women, for us to have only fun, no negative vibe inside. And also I will encourage parents to join genuine support group, because there are genuine support group out there. Sometimes we see parents, because of fear of seeing their child being discriminating against, they self-isolate themselves. And when you are self-isolated, you become more vulnerable. And when you become vulnerable, you depress. And you need to come out and join those genuine support group. And it's usually those group organize things like they will help you to find solution for your problem. Even if they don't know, they will search with you. And there is it empathy? They will empathize with you, and they will understand your journey. And pamper yourself, go out there. If you want to take up, when you put your child in school, you can create time for yourself, and then go for swimming lesson, take up courses you like, take up, walk, window shopping. And sometimes I just go to the movie by myself. Yeah, I watch movie, and then sometimes I have lunch by myself, and this is the opportunity for me to reflect on what I need to do next, what I need to do for myself, what I need to do for my child. I also in our group organize things like traveling, or we go for massage, we go for all sorts of pampering stuff, to uplift our spirit. Is very important. So you need care parent to join all those type of group, and avoid those type of group where they will misjudge you, they will have those type of prejudice. Sorry, I'm French speaking, so I'm doing my best. So to have all those prejudices, so avoid those type of group and join genuine group. Like Eniola have one group, thriving. Yes, and also when people like Eddie and the wife, they organize can event, I also show myself, because I want to be happy around people. So when you hear Eddie or M1 organizing event, or Femi organizing event, join those type of group, and then just have fun. It's not all about being always pity yourself. Just go out there and have fun as well.
Thank you so much. So we have a few minutes just to take questions. If anyone has a question, please come close to the stage. Then for the camera, yes, you have to come close. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Do you all feel as if you are getting the correct support that your child needs from the NHS and social care and the school?
I got thoughts.
Yeah. Who would like to take a picture?
Sorry. Actually, I think that's interesting. I just think the school my child is in right now actually does a phenomenal job. Oh, forgot about this. Sorry for you at home. I do, but now that I'm navigating the transition to secondary school, I think that I realize there are a few gaps, and I think that that's important for us to advocate to fill those gaps, as it is for
for the government, the county, the LEA to also provide those. And I think that what is missing, and I'm going to speak in a broader, I'm going to paint a broader brush, but I think that what is missing is a sort of an overall holistic approach to a child with disability. For instance, I think it's great that the LEA takes into account the needs of the child in deciding, let's say, a placement for school and whether that school can meet the need. But in actually living that, meeting the needs, I realized that had I been in a different position, that my child's needs would not have been met. And let me clarify this. What I mean is I am privileged. So when my school couldn't place my child in an after-school program because that after-school program is full, I am privileged that I am able to stay at home with him. I do work, but I'm a freelancer. And yes, this staying at home comes at a great cost to my career, but it doesn't mean that I can't put food on the table. So had it been a less financially privileged family, or a family with a single earner, okay, a single parent family, they would have been out of a job or been forced to move. And I think that means that system is unfair, and it's unfair, and it can benefit me, but it won't benefit everyone. So I think that's something that we as a society need to look into. So I can tell you for sure that my child has not been able to be in an after-school program at his local school. My child has not been able to participate in all clubs, after-school clubs, because there was an additional support for that. So maybe the clubs are once or twice a year. For me, the impact from my life hasn't really been that much, but had I been a single mother, or if I didn't have the resources, and I really needed that in order to work, in order to put food on the table, that would have been a great disservice. So we need to see the child as a whole, meaning it's not just what's good for the child within the educational setting, but that child lives within a family unit, and that family unit needs to provide a stable environment for that child, and they have needs. And which is another reason why I think that speaking about mental health for parents, for carers, is incredibly important. But that family unit has needs for that child to be in the best environment. And then that family unit lives within a community, and that community has needs. So we need to start, the system needs to start looking at it as at the child as a whole, because the people who are suffering for this are the people who have the least amount of opportunities are the ones who are going to suffer the most. It's not going to be the middle class. It's not going to be, it's going to be people who are disadvantaged. It's going to be people who live away from family, from their support, who are, it's going to be the immigrants, it's going to be people who are far away from their families, who don't have grandma and grandpa to come pick up the kids at school. And those are the most vulnerable people, and those are the ones that we should be looking after the most.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think we just have time for final words. We'll start from you. What final words do you have for our audience? Just a few sentences.
Okay. I will say challenge will always be there when you are raising a neurodivergent child. So what we need to do is to be more resilient. We need to speak up. I remember one time my son was having an issue with anxiety, and I was going on and with the school to make the school understand that he needs help. And my social worker say, do you realize that this fight you are having this school, society cannot understand that he needs help just now. I will do everything to get help for him. So be resilient. When I say fight,
Just final words, few sentences.
Yes, I'd say just tagging along with what Navy said, persistence is key because from what I've observed in the initial stages of my son's journey at school, when he was having all these issues, when he started emerging, I noticed that there was perhaps a lack of understanding, which that misconception of what they thought were behavioral challenges or just him being maybe rebellious was coming from a well-intentioned but maybe uninformed, misinformed position. Persistent and also work with the relevant professionals involved in the child's life. For example, suggesting how teachers maybe might be best positioned to help the child. For example, encouraging things, suggesting things like sensory breaks, where the child can find space to decompress. Maybe in terms of where he's positioned in the classroom, certain activities that might trigger him, things like that. So I think it's an element of persistence and the parents just being, I would say, adaptable and bringing everyone that is necessary for the board to bridge the gap. So the ball is really in the court of the parents to be an advocate for the child, and as such, all the other professionals will be a lot more responsive in a way that is maybe bespoke or suited to each child, or more effective in addressing concerns. And I really want to thank you as well for writing the book and setting up such a platform, because I think this is the first of many, this will be the first of many such initiatives that will indeed better inform a lot of the professionals and address some of those skills gaps that you see in schools that might not be specialized to deal with children who might have atypical or maybe neurodivergent behavior. So thank you for that. It's really, really very much appreciated.
Thank you so much. You guys have just been amazing. Thank you for being part of this. You will be coming back. We are not going anywhere. We are coming back. The whole society is going to be sensitized. And I really do believe that if people know better, they will do better.
Yes.
Thank you. Yes. Bye-bye.
Please, let's appreciate these people. Thank you so very much. Hello. All right, so in our midst today, we have a special guest. He's the mayor of Cambridge. Please make welcome Baju Tutara. Please come up stage. have few words for us. Thank you so very much.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, Councillor Titala, Mayor of Cambridge. In fact, when I received the invitation, to be honest, I did not have much information. So then I asked my staff, can you go back and ask what are we actually, what they want me to do? I didn't have a proper understanding of what it is. Then I have received a briefing. Then I realized what it is. And my day job, I'm a criminal lawyer. So I have seen, either in the police station or in courtrooms, what is the life, what is the situation of someone who requires special needs and special assistance. And I have to thank you all, the parents and the professionals. I know how challenging is this job. And being a parent, it would be extremely hard, especially as you rightly pointed out, if you having lack of resources, especially the migrant community where no parent, I have seen it in my eyes. The migrant community where I was in tears while I was making my submission to court. I myself was in tears what they have gone through. What has actually happened? Like you rightly pointed out, lack of information. Especially the migrant community are the people who are not well informed. There are avenues where you can go and get the help and support. One thing I'm almost certain, there are helps, but we don't know where to go or how to get it. And I personally have addressed through the housing and other signposting agencies. My assessment is that we have resources, but we still need more. And I am someone who I hate signposting people. Because if you come to me, I don't want to tell them you go there, you will get something from there. I want someone who would directly help you. If you ask me, can you help me with this? And then, yes, you stay in my office, I go and let me get someone who can help you with the situation. It's very easy for, people to just simply signpost. Signposting is not the right method of helping people. And I have raised it in many places. We need a particular place where, one stop for everything. I know it's hard, especially in migrant communities where they will be having difficulties because of their visa status. They are not allowed to get help and support from the state funds. And that's kind of situation where you will be struggling. But even in that struggle, your community can help and support. The local politicians, local councillors, and even other communities can help you. But what is really, I have seen few cases where I was very sad. The parents are withdrawn to themselves and they are of the view that what we can do, they know nothing. Well, of course, language is a barrier, culture is a barrier, and you are being someone new to the system. You don't know where to go, how to do, and slightly, at some instances, I myself have felt the system has breached their basic fundamental human rights. Without the parents knowing that it has been violated or breached. So, and one thing, in my suggestion, not my, in my professional practice, what I realized is this. If you think your rights have been violated, you must challenge it. Maybe not only for you, but those people who are suffering, those people whom we don't even know. So we should have a system where this is not an easy task. I have experienced, I have directly seen people, and again, if we were to fail, if we were not challenging it through the right channel, what we are actually hand in glove with, those systems that discriminate someone who's having this disability or the learning difficulties. So whenever you have a problem, if you think I can do anything, not as the mayor, not as a lawyer, as a human being, give me a call. I'll be there for you. See, I know how that impact on children and parents. Like you said, sometimes you go for a movie, but I know people have not even gone out of houses, sitting there and withdrawn to themselves. And can you imagine what is the quality of their life? So we should help them to go out, help them to challenge, help them to explore more avenues where we can get enough funding and resources. If when we go to school, if the school is of the view that we don't have resources, we don't care. It's my son or my daughter's right. You go after the authorities and get the funding done. That's your job, it's not my job. So we should have people challenging them, especially the disadvantaged group, the people who have lack of resources. We need to be that way. You people are the role models for them. And on that note, thank you very much for inviting me. Thank you. Thank you.
So now we're going to have a little bit of entertainment. So feel free to move your body, to dance wherever you are. So please be relaxed. All right, make welcome our saxophonist. She's here to entertain us for a few minutes. Please appreciate Priscilla as she comes up stage. You can do better. Well done. I'm already shaking my body. Come. You're welcome. You have yours.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Priscilla. And I'm particularly honored to be here today. I didn't know what it really meant, like the mayor said. So it gives me more privilege to be here today to honor the parents and healthcare professionals who are here. And I'm so honored, and I'm saying well done to you all. So it gives me more purpose for the choice of song. You raised me up. I hope that it will uplift you.
So the professional panels to come up stage. We have Femi. Please let's appreciate her. Femi is a non-profit practitioner. Let's appreciate her. Thank you very much. Also, we have Leslie. Leslie, please let's appreciate her. Leslie is a parenting coach. Thank you very much. So, as the facilitator of this session is Funke. Please let's appreciate Funke. Please come on the show. Welcome. Thank you very much. So, relax and reflect.
have been created. Everyone has already been introduction. I'm just going to go straight to the questions because we haven't got much time. So the first question would be a general question for all of you to answer. I'm glad we have a parenting coach and we have two educationalists in our midst in South Africa. So be very assured that all your questions will be right answer. Okay, so the first question I have here is, could you tell us, I'm going to come to you straight away, I'll start with you. Can you tell us about your experience with children with additional needs, please? In your role as a teacher?
Yes.
Yes.
Hi there. I'm a secondary school teacher and I've been teaching for 28 years now. And I'm in a mainstream school. We do have a SEND department and we do have a variety of children that have a whole range of learning needs. So we have to, work with our SEND department to see what we can do to help and how they actually perform within our situation so that we can actually work with them and the parents to try and make sure we get the best outcome we can.
Thank you.
Okay.
So tell us your experience as a parenting coach. What experience do you have working with children with additional needs?
Thank you so much, Funke. So mine is more of a blend. I would say it's a blend of educational support to parents, advocacy, and emotional support as well. So what I do mostly is to create a child-centered, tailored support for the child and the family. I focus on the family dynamics, ensuring that whatever plan we come up with is appropriate for the family and for the child. I also educate parents about their child neurodivergence because I believe that when parents have deeper understanding of what the child is going through, they're able to support their child adequately. I also encourage parents to, of course, take time out to celebrate themselves, celebrate little wins, and of course, practice a lot of self-care with the family as well. In terms of advocacy, what I do is to advocate for them to communicate effectively with GPs, with schools, with therapists, and then also with the local authority, because I currently work with Cambridgeshire County Council. I also support them with IEP, EHCP plans. So we have those regular conversations to support them to complete that for their children. And then, of course, promoting their emotional support because I believe the foundation of parenting is stem from you looking after yourself because like we earlier noted from one of our speakers, you can't pour from an empty cup. So once you're fully settled in terms of your emotions, you can be able to practice what we call co-regulation with your child in terms of when they struggle or when there's a meltdown at home. So these are the sort of tips that I support parents to do to be able to support their children in their homes. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, just like Becky has said, I work with the nursery, so we have a SENCO department. We are not allowed to diagnose as a teacher, so you have to go through the SENCO. When you notice anything different from a child, then you inform them and they are able to also assess the child and then speak to the parents and any other professional that they need to. So same as Becky.
Thank you so very much. If you all like to listen, the next question will be directed to you. So you as a parenting coach, could you tell us how parents can build stronger relationship with their children despite everything happening, despite the challenges of being a parent with a child with additional needs?
So I believe every child is unique and every child is being created with their specific talents and with their specific purpose. So the question I would throw out to parents is, what is your child interested in? Because your child has got some strengths within them that you should embrace and celebrate that. So look out for what your child is interested in and promote that. Ask your child questions, get interested in what your child does. It could be creating one-to-one time with your child just to explore their interests. Like my son likes to do art and crafts. So create that time. I think one thing we parents have to know is that I know we are all busy, but 20 minutes each day with your child is very important for every child. If you've got like 2 or 3, so that's 20 minutes each. That helps your child in a lot of ways, and it creates that bonding between you and the child. Also focused on strengths-based parenting, which is also celebrating the uniqueness of your child. Let them know they are unique. Another thing I would say is to empower your child by letting them lead those sessions. So if you've got one-to-one sessions with them, if you've got any time with them at all to create that bonding, let them lead on that. Let them have control. Children like to be empowered. They like to take control of what they are doing. Ask them questions. It shows that you're actually interested and you want to know more. So sometimes even allow your child to teach you. Allow them to, whatever they are interested in, whatever they do very often, allow them to teach you what they are doing. And I think that kind of creates a lot of bonding as well. Another thing I would say is bonding comes from a deep understanding of your child. It comes from mutual respect as well. So learn to respect your child regardless of the condition or the situation at home. Again, it goes back to the foundation, which is looking after yourself, because if you're not in the right place, you would not be able to create this bond between you and your child. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that strong connection. Thank you. And I'm just going to say something quickly with the timing that you said 20 minutes. If you look at the edit, like this, 20 minutes, do you think that would be realistic? Like, having spending 20 minutes really, looking at having probably have more than one children. So spending 20 minutes.
I think you can start from somewhere. Do what's manageable for you. So it might be good for A, but it might not be good for you right now, depending on your family dynamics. So start from 5 minutes a day, and then you build up to 10 minutes a day. A good thing to do is to do it at bedtime when everyone is settled, after dinner, everything. Perhaps if you have devotion at night, or bedtime is usually a good time to have that conversation and to spend each time with each of them in their room just before the sleep and before the good nights, hugs and kisses. Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying that. And that will lead me to my next question. So talking about dynamics and talking about differences in our children now. So can you describe what a classroom which is inclusive, which celebrates inclusive environments? Would you describe how it would look like? I mean, considering other children as well with different needs.
I myself, I'm actually a PE teacher, but all our classrooms, we do have our SEND department, and we do have members of the team that do come in and support some of the children as well. We have a variety of students. I have one boy, for example, that suffers from ADHD, and his parents do not want to give him any medication to help him settle within the classroom frame. It's their choice, so obviously we've got to try and find a way to work with it. And I teach him as a classroom lesson. I actually teach him PSHE, and he finds that very difficult because in a PE lesson, he's fantastic. He will do anything. He's running around. He's doing the movement. He's doing what he loves to do. So I've suggested to the head of our SEND department that maybe what we do is we come up with a positive report for him, because we do have children that are on reports, and they hand it over because they're late to lessons or because of their behaviour. And I said, let's give him a positive report with a few tasks on there. And if he manages to achieve just one of those tasks in class, he gets a sticker, which is a football one, because he loves football. And I said, maybe then towards the end of his term, every half term, he could get something for that, because he's built up these points and he's shown that actually he can perform. And at the same time, he's trying to adapt the work we're giving him. So in PSHE lessons, I do a lot of talking, as you can see, it's not quite natural to me. So, the children are jotting down bits and they're making a few notes and that. And we were looking at bullying. So what I did for him was try and print off some word searches of bullying. So he's still following what we are doing, but he's doing something a bit more different that he can actually focus on. And I've been in communication with the SCN department and told them this as well. But we have a whole range, because, for example, not necessarily SEND, but we have a lot of children that are coming from Ukraine or Russia, and they're not understanding lessons. So what I've done is I've come up with worksheets for them in PE that says, okay, we're doing hockey, and I've given them the main topic areas of that thing and translated it for them.
Is that in practice? So it's question. Is that in practice across board? Is that what, because you say I do, so I'm just wondering if that's practice that
yes, I've put it across to the department now, so it's opened up now. So I'd like to try the ideas out, and then obviously, say, well, actually, this really worked for this child. So now it's opening up, and they're spreading, the things across, because it's important that you work together. And as I was saying earlier, you need to work with the parents as well. So the parents, it's vital that they contact the SEND departments in school, so that the SEND department actually understands their child, and we can then, as a school, try and work to accommodate this as well.
Thank you so very much, Jackie. Thank you. I'm going to come back. I'm coming to you, Faye. Because Kevin works in the nursery, and then he works in secondary school. So the same question to you: what would nursery setup look like? And setting that is inclusive. What would it look like?
Everything is set up like it will be for anybody. It's not like separate for, okay, she's got or he's got special needs, or everything is all set up. But it depends on me, like what do I want to achieve on that day with the child, or with everyone. Okay, I have a child in my nursery who has something called picker, and picker is something that the child don't have control over. They eat everything. Basically, they don't have control, not because they want to. So because of that, I set an activity up, and I want the child to be included in it. All I have to do is, I don't have to take everything away, because I know he's going to come and pick it up. All I have to do is let him sit down, and I just have to guide him to watch him and not make him eat it. And when he feels it, let him feel it. And then he understand, okay, this is what you do with it, but not in your mouth. They will be tempted to put it in his mouth. But what I have to do is just try to guide him, and I only need to say, give it, put my hand there, and then he will spit it out. Being inclusive is getting everybody involved in whatever activity that you set up for that day. Okay, what is my achievement? What do I want him to gain? I want him to also understand that I can play with anybody and everybody. I don't have to be separated because I have this or I have that. And that's just it for me.
Thank you so very much. I remember when the parents were having their sessions, someone mentioned sensory room. Is it something that you have in your, and my children's school as well, but if they have a room like that for children that come on sensory, they take them there just to calm them and to go. Is it something that you both have in your schools as well?
Yes, we do have a sensory. We call it a den. It's opened, and in that place there is like an emotion. It has emotions of how you're feeling, how are you today, how are you feeling. So it has different things to symbolize how you're feeling. So the child can come and, this is how I'm feeling. They can just pick a toy that says maybe I'm happy or I'm angry. But sometimes it doesn't work like that. When they're upset, they're upset. You cannot calm them down. But you just have to be patient enough to know you're there for them, and until they come around.
Thank you so much.
Very quickly. Yes, we do have a room as well. We have a light room. It has been bags, and it has different sort of sensations on the wall, and different pictures up as well for students to, sort of encourage them to try and come to terms with it, and just to relax and try and get their mind calm so they're ready to go off to something else.
Thank you. Let's not continue now. So the next question for you, is how can parents address sibling dynamics to ensure that siblings of children with special needs feel equally valued and supported? So how can we address dynamics in the home, sibling dynamics, especially in homes where they don't just have children with special needs, they have other children as well. And a lot of times we find that parents focusing, this question is focusing on the child with additional needs, and the ones without, they feel better sometimes. At the same time, how can we
ensure that the ones with additional needs are treated. They are not given any
favoritism.
Yes, that's the point. How can we balance it? So we are not creating unnecessary anything among situations.
First of all, that's a tough one, I will admit. But one thing I know that does the magic for me as a parent and as a professional is conversations. So having conversations with your children, the ones that are neurotypical, have those conversations with them about their sibling who is neurodivergent. Educate your children, the ones that are neurotypical, educate them about their siblings, make them aware, let them be informed about things like sensitivity, sensory overload, how to communicate properly with their siblings, how their sibling likes to be, spoken to, talk about boundaries as well, creating healthy boundaries. So educate those neurotypical children in the home about that, because I feel when there is an understanding, they are able to accommodate each other more, and it works for the family as a unit. So those conversations should be regular. Like every other thing, it shouldn't be a one-time thing. It should be consistent, because consistency is where you see the progress, in families. Also educate them about the fact that when you're supporting their sibling that's got neurodivergence, you're not favoring them. Like, it's not about favoritism, it's about meeting each other at their needs. So meeting them at their needs. So another way to think about it is equity rather than equality, because everyone has got different needs. So your sibling or your brother has got this and this and this needs. You have got this and this alone. For there to be equity, you need to work with them according to their needs. So focusing on that will kind of help. Yeah, I'll stop at that. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Thank you. That's helpful, I believe. Thank you. I'm going to continue. So the next question says, from your experience, what creative tools, strategies can you share with parents to support their ongoing efforts in helping their young children develop key skills at home?
Okay, this is something I've experienced. I have a child in my setting, and I believe this child, he's really smart. It's really, really smart. But then some teachers will class it as behavioral problem because of the way he takes things or the way he approaches friends and all that. And after seeing that, because I don't have the qualification to diagnose him, I went to the Senko and speak to the officer that I would like him to assess the child, because I believe he's really smart, but I believe being in my class is not ideal for him. I believe he should be in a higher class because he's doing more. His brain takes, he's like a 5-year-old, even though I work with 2-year-olds, but his brain works faster. And when he's idle, then his behavior, he kind of lashes out, you can see it. And he assessed the child and he said the same thing, like, okay, and I did propose that they take him to a higher class, which is preschool, because he would gain more and he will have more support in there. After assessing that, I said, I can't say it, but they have to work with the parents to know if it's, I mean, we can suggest it, but you can't push it. Yeah. If she is ready to take him on board, let him go to preschool, then he can gain more. And yes, she did accept that, and the child went to preschool, and there was improvement in his behavior as a child. He was thriving in the preschool area because he was given what he needed for that time. And I'm just grateful to God that I was able to pick that up, and the management listened as well. So in cases like that, it's basically, yes, I can't diagnose, but then go to the higher power, speak to them, and then they have the power to speak to parents and every other professional involved, and then offer the support as well. Yeah.
Thank you so much. I'm going to come to you, Becky. The second question, however, is something I want you to address. Like, what tools, what creative tools do you think would be effective?
I think when it comes to, I mean, when we can't look at secondary school, we have a lot of, we have SEND children obviously as well. We have children that are suffering with mental health problems as well. And I think it's basically trying to, as a teacher, know those that are struggling, those that are showing that they've got problems, all right, trying to find a way to work with them. So at the moment, I'm getting my year 11s through their GCSE. We are looking at revision, and I've got children panicking left, right, and centre about a variety of different things. And I've got what I call my revision Bible. And basically, I've got in there lots of different ideas that I've created, that I've suddenly thought of and thought, well, actually, maybe that will work. So I was showing one child, and she's very academic, she's very bright, but she's suffering from mental health issues and suffering a lot of anxiety. And I showed her and said, well, I've got these mind maps that I did. I said, I like them because they're very visual, and every topic area has a page to itself. And she looked at them, she was like, oh, wow, they're really good. And I said, I'll photocopy them for you. She said, but they're yours. I said, I'm photocopying them for anyone that needs them. But also in this booklet, I've also got things that students who are struggling to remember things, I've broken down the mind map. So I've got the basics there. And once they've learned that, they get a post-it note and put it on top with the next bit. So they're learning it bit by bit. And a lady we had at our school, she'd researched all these things, and she said, I've never seen anything like that. She said, it's like layered learning, you know. And I said, yes. As well as the, you know, the Chinese where they fold up the paper and do the
origami.
All right.
Origami.
Yes. Well, I've made those for them, and every topic area has got a whole variety of questions. So those children that are fidgeting the whole time, they can't settle, they can fiddle with it, and then they can ask themselves a question.
Would you say those two strategies will help at home as well?
Yes. Because that's something that I do then, we speak to parents about, you know, and I say, look, and I show them what we're doing and show them how we're doing it, you know, to try and encourage them to help out as well, because it's vital that parents are included in anything that's going along and things that we do find that are working for students, because obviously it's the parents that can help, you know, and bring these things out. So whether it's taking their children to extra clubs, or whether it's having family days out, because then everyone's on a level par, everyone's enjoying themselves regardless of the need of the child.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's now come to this study can be isolating, and especially for parents, it can be overwhelming as well. What tips do you have for parents feeling isolated, feeling lonely? I know the parents here said a lot about self-care and how she's so intentional about it. So I'd like to reiterate what parents can do, especially when they feel really overwhelmed and isolated, really supporting their children's additional needs.
Thank you. So first of all, I like to say that feeling overwhelmed or feeling frustrated, it's okay. It's a normal feeling, and every parent feels this once in a while. In fact, it actually shows that you're an amazing parent. You deeply care for your child. That's why you have those feelings. So just pat yourself and celebrate yourself, because that's okay. And then in terms of tips that I would encourage parents to do, one of it will be to focus on what's manageable. Do little things at a time. So focus on the little chunks first. Some days will be good, some days will be bad. Not every day will be the same, even for the child as well. Some days will be good and some days will be bad. Sometimes just order in, sometimes leave the clothes to pile up, sometimes just allow the child, you know, just to do what they need to do so that you can just choose. So do what's manageable, take it one day at a time. Secondly, I would say prioritize sustainability, because that brings the bonding and brings about connection. So prioritize sustainability over perfection, because most times we are so overwhelmed because we want to get it perfect. You don't need to be perfect all the time. In fact, your child wants a present parent, a parent who is present for them rather than you being perfect. So it's a lot better for you to be present and calm and patient and just do those co-regulations, just do some grounding techniques, let's breathe in together, let's put our feet on the floor, stretch, chill, dance is a very good one. Let's just dance and just do something else rather than wanting to be perfect. So it doesn't have to be perfect every day. Take it cool with yourself. But most importantly, the Thriving Beyond the Level community is there for you.
Yeah.
Ask for help. Speak to somebody, ask for help. Come and join our community. It's a vibrant community, I must say. Annie is doing an amazing work there with those parents. Like, I really wish, I've also told her, I wish we had that during the COVID time when a lot of us really suffered, with the loneliness and all, but I'm glad it's happening now. So come and join our communities, look out for support groups out there within your neighborhood, and just tally on with women or parents going through similar things with you. I think that really helps to eliminate any sort of frustration or overwhelmingness. Thank you.
And so very quickly, I'm going to say something about champion speaks. And that's a very good by the way. It's so very relatable, and thank you for being so vulnerable, sharing everything I shared today. Amy said something about, I wanted to say, I'm going to talk about the importance of information. She said something about regular transitioning from Nigeria to the UK. Right? She assumed that things would just take shape and she shared that reality of when they even had to move from a particular part of the UK coming to Cambridge. So initially she wasn't really working in partnership with a school, but she had learned her lesson. So by the time she moved over to Cambridge, she had information that, she was just giving all the information that they needed in the school. So tell us the importance of working in partnership with the school. I'm going to ask you, Femi, how important is it? Especially with our people, sometimes we hold back on some information. We don't want to share everything that we're going through, whatever is happening in our children, and we don't want to share. What would you say? What do you have to say about that?
I would say, first of all, it will help. I'm going to use myself as an example. As a nursery practitioner, it will help me to understand your child and how I can also be of a help to the child. It's important to open up, to the teacher, like, this is what I'm struggling with, this is what is happening, and then we can be able to help in any way, maybe in an educational way or something that works for us in the nursery. We can also relay that back to you, which we call a handover. When we do handover, this is what your child does in the nursery, this is what they like. Maybe it's pictures, maybe it's a particular toy, or even a child that they have a speech delay. There are simple words that we use if a child is struggling and they need help. They might not be able to say they need help. So what you say to the child is maybe just a word. Just call the child's name and say help. Yeah. And if the child can pick that word and say help, then the child needs help. So simple things like that, it's very helpful. Also labeling things, maybe pictures. It could be pictures of something, like, because they're not able to communicate their emotions or what they want at that time, just give them different pictures or point to it. And I would also use a child in my nursery who has speech delay and sometimes is frustrated. He wants something. So I know he likes cars, he likes robots, he likes coloring pencils and all. So I put them in front of him and I'm asking. Car, I would say, I don't have to say, do you want a car? Because that's too long of a sentence. I'll just go straight, car, robot, and what I said to him to let me know that is what he wants. I do. So I'll pick the picture, I do, and then if he wants it, he will say to me, I do. And then I'll give him that thing. So things like that, when we say it back to the parents, it helps because they can go home and continue. And whatever works for them, I hope they can come to the nursery and share with us. So it helps both ways.
Thank you. Just to say very quickly, if you're watching us online, there's a QR code that I can scan if you have any questions. And final words from everyone, very quickly. 20 seconds.
Oh. Yeah, my final words would be to say thank you to Annie for heeding this call and for doing this, because this is huge. Thank you for your obedience. I also say thank you to everyone here today. Thank you to everyone that have spoken, because we've all learned a lot. For those online that has watched up until this time, I would also say thank you. And if you're a parent raising your divergent child, I would say you are doing an amazing job. Parenting can be messy, but we can be better. We can be better. The fact that you're here today, the fact that you're listening shows that you want to grow, you want to learn. So that is the starting point, which is amazing. And also, I would want to say, please look after yourself. Look after yourself. That is the foundation of parenting. I wish I knew this much earlier. If you're not looking after yourself, you're not helping yourself, and you're not helping the child and the family. So look after yourself, ask for help, come to us at Thriving Beyond the Label community. We are there for you. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you for everyone, and I think it's just really important that everyone works together to support one another. So whether it's parents talking to the school, talking to children, and whether it's actually talking to other parents who maybe have concerns about their child and are worried about them. And actually, it's not a shameful thing at all. It's understanding your child and making the best for them and helping them with their future. And that's what it's all about, future for everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so very much. Thank you everyone. If you have any question, and I think everyone is going to do that, please write your questions and there will be time for you to ask those questions. Thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Please let's appreciate them. Thank you very
You're not laughing at all. I'm serious. My voice was shaking. Where was she?
Okay.
Oh, really?
Hello. Have you had a good time so far? Yes. Have you learned anything? Yes. Are you sure? Yes. Okay, just get your questions ready. I'm not sure I can hear myself. Just get your questions ready. So after the session, we'll take questions, and we'll be able to address all the issues that you brought today. So thank you very much for coming out. And to our online viewers, we want to say a very good thank you to you all. Please kindly put in your answers, the questions in the comment section, please. Thank you very much. So we have in our midst an amazing woman who has been to so many places, sharing her stories and all that. She is a beautiful woman, and she's in our midst today to really bless us and to inspire us. She's going to be a big blessing to us tonight. So, big welcome. Let me just introduce her, our guest speaker, an amazing woman. Her name is Tola Andu. Tola Andu is a purpose-driven social entrepreneur. She is an international speaker. She is the founder of the Tola Andu Foundation, the TAFKS, the Sisterhood Company, the registered nurse and health visitor. Her captivating storytelling on a social media platform at Raising Kelvin, using her lived experiences raising her son to promote autism awareness and acceptance, has reached an audience of millions with a following of over 800 people. Please, for more information, you can visit the website, of the champion, www.achampion.com for more information. And if you'd like to know more about her, we're going to be sending that out later, and you can follow her on Instagram. She has her social media, and trust me, I've been to her page, and you're really, really going to be blessed. So please make welcome this amazing woman, Tola Andu. Let's appreciate her. Thank you so very much for coming out tonight. We really appreciate you, madam. God bless you. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. It truly is an honor to be here today. Please, how am I going to flick through the slides? They'll help with that. Okay, awesome. So by way of introduction, my name is Tola Handu. I can't quite see the slides from there. Is it possible for us to have it a little closer? Thank you. That is very helpful. So I just wanted to start by saying it is really such an honor to be here today. I am so grateful that Annie reached out. When she asked me to do a keynote speech and she shared, the topic, it very much resonates with me and how I like to live. So it talks about the power of resilience, and I'll be sharing a few slides, but I wouldn't put all the focus on the slides. It's more of the message. And I'm here today not as a speaker. I'm here as a mom, because I believe that some of us in the room are either parents or caregivers to children with additional needs. So the first slide here just kind of talks about who I am. So I am a registered nurse in learning disabilities. I completed my training in 2011, and following that I worked in the early years for children with additional needs. So from 2011 to 2015, I worked with children with additional needs. I then did a postgrad and qualified as a health visitor, and I've been working as a health visitor since 2016. So that's what that says. But I suppose the most important part of that intro is that I am the parent of an autistic adult. I have 3 children, Kevin, Kayla, and Caden. Kevin is my eldest child. He's 19 years old now, and he has a diagnosis of autism, ADHD, and learning difficulties. And I suppose I started to share his journey with his disability online about 2 years ago from the point of view of myself as a migrant parent raising him in this country. And I did it because we have to be part of the change that we want to see. There's so much stigma around disabilities in general. And I remember, when he was younger, I had such a big fear of what the future would look like, but there was nobody really sharing, So a lot of the path that we had to take, we had to make for ourselves. And that was a really, really lonely journey. And I only share now so that people can see that there is hope in this journey too. Your life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. And I'll take the next slide, please, sir. Okay, so I just wanted to first say that parenting is hard. Whether you have neurotypical or neurodivergent children, parenting is a tough job. Special needs, on the other hand, is even more so because there's added complexities. So it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's a process and a journey, and it comes with its own unique challenges. So when you try to, take tips for people, just know that, it's not a one-size-fits-all. It's good for you to trial and error different things, but don't be disheartened if you try something that doesn't work for you. Next slide, please. Okay, so parenting requires a lot of internal and external work. Learning, unlearning, and relearning. It takes a lot of self-reflection, critical evaluation of yourself, and it requires a conscious effort and dedication to the cause. It most importantly takes accountability and resilience. So when we talk about parenting, can I go to the next slide, please? So I just put here a little definition of resilience, and it means our ability to continue to function the best way we can, regardless of the life stressors we encounter along the way. Okay, so this is a big part for me on this write-up, and it talks about self-work. So I'm of African background, Nigerian to be more specific, and I believe that on this parenting journey, I'll go through the slide first. So it says, working on yourself is one of the first steps in building resilience in your parenting journey. It's important for us as parents to evaluate ourselves and areas of our lives that might impact our parenting capacity. It's also crucial for us to understand that our past, even though we do not realize it, shapes our present. Many of us parents might have experienced some childhood trauma, stereotypes, or stigmas around disability growing up that unknowingly we still carry the baggage from and has shaped us into the parents we are. Now, this is a big one for me because I know that on my journey, it really did affect me in the early days. where, you know, as I said, I'm very much Nigerian, and there's still presently such a stigma around disabilities. We want our lives to look a certain way. We are trained ourselves a certain way that then translates into the way we see our children. And I think this is a part to start on first, especially on this journey. Look at yourself in terms of reflection on your childhood. What are the parts of your childhood that, you know, you kind of liked, that was a strength to you? What are the parts of your childhood that affected you? I feel like this helped me in, like, a lot of the parenting I received, has translated into what I give now. And some parts of it as well are things that I have left behind. So that's why I say on this journey, there's a lot of unlearning and relearning that we need to do. It's a big step to take because it really helps. If you've done this evaluation of yourself as a person, you can then start to look at, you know, areas that might translate to and maybe affects the care or parenting that your children receive. And the next part is seeking the help. The help might be professional, it might be from your family, it might be from your friends, it might be from your community. But whatever help that you've identified that might get in the way of your parenting, it's important that you get the support to address that. I'll take the next slide, please. So it says here, doing this self-reflection will help us identify any potential barriers and seek support to address those areas of need. Getting the help required, whatever that looks like, is a strength and not a weakness. Most importantly, it is very necessary. The way I look at, you know, our childhood experiences and trauma is that, you know, it translates. If you don't address it, you would then pass it on to your children, who then will pass it on to your grandchildren, and we don't get to break that line that needs to be broken. So it says here, addressing any issues identified would then help us move forward towards acceptance of our reality. It says this process can be similar to going through the grief process of anger, denial, depression, bargaining before finally reaching acceptance. Speaking to professionals, relatives, or parents in a similar journey to you can be very helpful. You know, some of the panelists have shared earlier that we need to use support networks, but there still is a culture of silence, especially with us Black and ethnic minority people. We don't want to talk about it, because if we don't talk about it, we believe it doesn't exist. It does exist. Whether you keep it in the four corners of your house, or you speak to nobody, or you keep it to your chest, it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. Wherever your experiences are, still exist, and we have to get away from the culture of silence. I'll take the next slide, please. It says here, raising children with special needs require a set of unique skills. From us as parents, it involves the ability to embrace our roles as caregivers, teachers, advocates, and cheerleaders. It helps us to create a loving and supportive environment that allows our children to thrive and reach their full potential. Now, this slide is very important because it talks here about acceptance. Acceptance is a journey in itself. It's not a place that you reach to. It's not a destination, because every day there are some unique challenges that will throw you back to, you know, where you go back to, oh God, why me? Why have you done this to me? Then you move from that to, you know, blaming yourself. It must be something that I've done wrong. It must be, you know, maybe especially me from Nigerian background, maybe you ate something in the pregnancy. You start to question yourself. You start to blame yourself. So I would not say acceptance is a destination. It is a journey, but it's one that we need to get to, regardless of, you know, the challenges along the way. I'll take the next slide, please. So here, tips and skills for nurturing resilience. And these are all the things that I found that work for me in my own journey. My son is 19 years old now, and it has been a journey to get to this point. And the first is advocacy. Nobody knows your child like you. You were pregnant with your child, you birthed your child, nobody knows them like you. So you are naturally their best advocate. So I say, as parents, you have better insight into your child, their needs, and their support needs. So naturally, you're their best advocate. Being an advocate for your child is a crucial skill, as you are their voice. Sometimes on the journey raising children with special needs, some are non-verbal. Even for our children that are verbal, they might not be able to be in that position to negotiate the needs that they have. So naturally, you are the best person to do that job. Now, advocacy, I said, being an advocate for your child can be intimidating, especially when there are professionals involved. I mentioned earlier that I'm a health visitor, so I do sit in a lot of meetings with parents, SENCOs, schools, a lot of professionals. And oftentimes I see the parents come in and be talked at. You come into the room and you already feel at a loss. These are professionals. They have degrees, they have PhDs, they have masters. They must know better than me. But I'm here to tell you today that you are the expert in the life of your child. So whatever you need to do, know that a lot is at stake. Your child's future depends on this meeting. So even if you have to write down your points, because you might leave home all guns blazing that I'm going to say this and say that, and then you get there and there's all these people in their white collar suits and everything has eluded you. Write it down. Write it in red. Whatever you need to do, write it down so that you can go through those points, because it will not happen for your child, or maybe not in the way you want it, if you do not present it. So that's what I've said here, that it can be intimidating when you are in this meeting, but being a professional means that they are professional in their field. They are not a professional in your child. Yeah? Thank you. So professionals may know about your child's condition, but they don't know about your child. It is therefore important that you take the lead in these conversations. Yes, take advice, but take the lead. If this is suggested, please do try it. If it doesn't work, we come back and we review the plan. Let them know that you are taking the lead. You are the leader in this panel. In this meeting that we're having, my child is the center and I am their voice. So these are our support names, and how are you going to help us with this? Please do not feel intimidated. As I said, write things down. If you can't write it down, make a voice recording of it, because you need to be present in that moment. A lot is at stake. I'll take the next slide, please. Adaptability. So this is another big one. It says the ability to adapt to changing situations is very important on our journey as parents of children with special needs. The needs of our children will frequently change as they grow, and it's important for us as parents to be creative in finding solutions to daily challenges and adapting our children's changing circumstances, staying positive in the process. This one resonates very quickly, very much with me, because as I said, my son is 19 years old now, and sometimes parents will come to me, often parents of younger children, and they'll say, "Oh, you said Kevin has ADHD, but he looks so calm." I'm like, "Were you there when I was running around the streets chasing this boy?" The change, the behaviors change. Day in, day out, it changes. But we need to understand that we have to be adaptable. Yeah, we need to be adaptable to this change, and we have to be creative in terms of finding solutions. I was in another event, and a mom was talking about the challenges. She had a child that was fecal smearing, and I can understand as a parent how difficult that can be. And someone there in the group suggested, "Oh, my son does the same thing. I just put the onesie on them and put it on back to front so that the zip is at the back and they can't reach." So that's why it's very important for us to be adaptable, because that works. If they can't pull the zip down, they can't reach what they need, what they were trying to reach. So instead of us sitting and crying, because this lady, I could see that day that she was at her wit's end of this concern that her child was doing. But there is another parent who is experiencing the exact same thing, but she already in her own means found a type of solution that helps. The onesie doesn't have to be on top of the clothes, because yes, we still want our child to look stylish and look nice. But if it's underneath and there's something nice on top of it, nobody has to know. Nobody has to know. But these are things that we have to be in a mindset to be able to make happen. If we are already so flustered, and let me tell you, there are plenty of reasons to be flustered. There's plenty of reasons, day in, day out, for us to be tired and stressed. But at the end of the day, this is the child that God has blessed you with. And there's no refunds. There's no refunds. So we have to find creative ways to get solutions to everyday challenges that come along our way. That's why we have to be adaptable. Whatever the thing is, look at it from a critical point of view. But what I've said earlier, if you've not done that self-work, to be in that place of positivity, everything will annoy you. Everything, your child is not trying to target you. When they do things, they are not meaning to come and frustrate you. So you have to be in a space where you understand that this is your reality, but how can I move along past this? What are things that I can do that can help? I'll take the next slide, please. Communication. Now it says adaptive communication is an essential skill in our journey as parents of children with special needs. It is important to adapt to our children's communication style. Remember that whether verbal or non-verbal, every child communicates. The onus is on us as parents to adapt to our child's communication style in order to be able to capture their voice. Use communication aids that may benefit your child. I would say on one of the top 3 questions I get asked is, how did you get Kevin to speak? It's almost like I switched on a button and then he started to speak. But communication in itself is a journey. And because your child might not be verbal doesn't mean that they are not constantly trying to speak to you. Sometimes we put so much emphasis on speech that we miss out on every other type of communication that happens along the way. We just want this child to talk. We just want them to, express. But, in the way your child looks at you, holds your hand, comes to sit near you, all of this is communication, and we are missing out on it because we are focusing on a different thing. Your child being able to verbally speak to you is lovely, but please don't miss out on all of these other things that they are saying to you with their words, with their actions along the way. Yeah, it's important. Another speaker did say earlier that we need to, have those moments with our children. And if you watch any of our videos, you see that I'm constantly trying to talk, because if you are not able to understand your child, get involved in their life. Even when Kevin was younger, if he goes and come back from school and I say, how was school today? There was no words to tell me. I used to rely on the communication books, and then I'll build on the questions from the communication book. And at one point, everything he said was yes. What did you do in school today? Yes. Was school good today? Yes. Everything was yes. But we built on from that. From that, it became, it would tell me only what he ate. Oh, for today in school, I ate chicken. And that was communication as well. So whatever way your child communicates, use aids. As I said, we use communication books with the school. Kevin started with PECS. He did not say a word to us until after 5 years old. And that was just words. The way he speaks now, only in the last couple of years. People do not believe me when I say it. Only in the last couple of years where he's conversational. And even those conversations are based on things that he wants to talk about. But you have to be able to want to talk about what your child wants to talk about. It can't always be a one-way street. What you want them to do. No. Sometimes I talk about football, I don't even like football. Sometimes I talk about fitness. Okay, maybe he's managed to poach me into the fitness space now. But I don't even know how many calories we're meant to be eating in a day. But this is what he wants to talk about. So we talk about it. So please do not put too much emphasis on the speech, because communication is still happening along the way. And if you miss those are ample opportunities. Because if your child feels listened to, they will tell you more. Whether it's verbal, whether it's non-verbal. If they feel like they have an audience in you, you will be the first to know everything else that happens. They will tell you more. But if they're talking to you, you're half pressing your phone, you're half doing something else, that you've missed that opportunity. And it's never too late. It's never too late. That speaker said, spend 20 minutes with your time. I think I spend more than, because I have an interest in what they're doing. And they have an interest in telling me, because I want to hear. I want to know about it. What are the young ones doing these days? I want to know all about it. So spend the time. It's an investment in your future, because your children are your future, whether you like it or not. I'll take the next slide, please, on the community. So next one is a positive attitude. It says parents need to cultivate a positive and empowering mindset. We are the models for our children. Having a positive attitude, even in the face of challenges, is difficult, but essential. Our children, regardless of how young or old they are, can read or even mirror our emotion, which in turn impacts on how they're feeling. So it's important to focus on our children's abilities and limitations rather than their limitations, and be intentional about seeking out moments of joy. Celebrate every progress, no matter how small. Appreciate all the small victories and achievements that your child makes, as it fosters a positive attitude and outlook on life, willingness to learn, and promotes resilience. One of the things people say is that I laugh a lot. I laugh not because everything that happens daily makes me happy, but it's a choice. Happiness is a choice. A more positive mindset is a choice. And people say, oh, does it mean that every day there's no challenges, everything is going right every single day? No. Even on the journey here, my husband can attest to it. Kevin's team was playing today and they were losing, and he was in such a sour mood. he was in such a sour mood about it. So not every day is positive. That impacted him a lot. But it's the mindset that matters. You are the mirror for your children. If they see that, regardless of challenges, and even if there's something joyful in the midst of that, it might be as thin as a thread, so difficult to see and spot out. But if you have a mindset of positivity, even in the face of challenges, you can be critical and trying to find solutions. Okay, yes, this has happened and it's not happened right. What can we do about it? But if we're the first to put our hands on our heads and sit on the floor and scream and cry about every single thing that happens, what is that teaching your child? What really is that teaching your child? And we need to, support our children that regardless of, challenges that we face daily, being here, being alive, and being well, even if nothing else is going right, is enough to be positive about. It's enough to be happy about. And we have to be intentional about that, even intentional about teaching it to our children. It's a choice. It's not something that I can do for you. You have to make that choice that yes, things are hard, but a bad day is not a bad life. Tomorrow is another day. Tomorrow is another chance at whatever didn't go right yesterday. So yeah, we will magnify the things that have gone right, even if it's your child just eating that dinner at nighttime, because it's a big deal. It is a big deal. Sleeping through the night is a big deal. Eating your food is a big deal. So we will celebrate all the little wins. Your child coming home when the school has not rang you to come and collect them at 11 o'clock. This was my reality. You send your child to school at 9. By 11, you've literally just entered work and they're telling you to come and pick your child. So a day that doesn't happen is a positive day for me, and I will celebrate it. So regardless of what that looks like for you, because we forget about these things, or it doesn't mean things. It's such a big deal. It really is such a big deal, and we have to be intentional about picking out these things and celebrating them, being happy about them, praising your child for sitting for 5 minutes. Kevin has ADHD. I know what sitting for 5 minutes looks like, and I know how big that is for him. And for parents, whatever this looks like for your child, whatever you know that it's taking effort for them to make happen, please magnify it and make a big deal out of it and praise them for it. You can't overlove your child. I know we come from a culture that sometimes, we don't get our parents to say, I love you. I say, I love you too much. Or get a hug or get a cuddle from your parents. But let's make these changes. Tell them you love them. Praise them for what they have done right. It's a big deal. I'll take the next slide, please. Conscious teaching. So it says, as parents of children with special needs, we can sometimes overcompensate for our children's disabilities. It's important for us to remember that every child can learn. Yeah, and for us to actively seek out opportunities to teach our children skills for life in line with their abilities. It requires intentional effort, as it is often easier for us to do things for our children than teach them how to do it for themselves. However, teaching them would in turn help them acquire life skills, develop their self-esteem and self-confidence as they journey through life. I'll make this practical again. Say you're dressing your child. It's quicker in the morning. I have 3 children to get out of the house to school in the morning and a job to go to, all before 9 a.m. So it's easier for me to put the clothes on the children, put the socks, put the jacket, help feed them. Feed them. I will talk about this conscious teaching. There was a day Kevin was it was primary school, it must have been 7. His sister is 3 years younger than him, so I'll say she was 4. And I made them both their breakfast. I made them Weetabix. And I was feeding Kevin because if I wait for him, then he'll be slow, then his uniform will be soiled, or something else will happen that would then delay me. So his sister, younger than him though, she was feeding herself, I was feeding him. And in the middle of that, I needed to run upstairs to do something. I went upstairs. By the time I came back, his sister was even feeding him because I didn't take time to teach him how to feed himself. It was easier, it was convenient for me. Yeah, down the line when the child is secondary school age, or even primary school, because there's no teacher that has time to be feeding your child for you in school. But I didn't take time to teach him these skills because it was more convenient for me to do it for him. So we have to think about independence all the time. Little things, putting on your socks, putting your hand in your jacket. Because all these things we naturally just do for them because we overcompensate for their disability. Oh boy, he can't do it. He can. She can. It will just take time. It will just take time. And for each of our children, it's different. I'm only giving these examples from my perspective. Adapt it to your own child. Seek out, be patient with teaching them. You can teach one thing 200 times. You will get there, my sister. You will get there, but you have to have that mindset of wanting to teach and being patient in the process. Self-care. In all of these, I've said all of these things about, what we have to do for our children, what we have to do for our children. It's natural for us parents to be at the bottom line of everything. We've looked after our children, we've looked after the house, we've looked after our parents, we've looked after people in our jobs. We forget about ourselves. But we're human too. So it says in all of this, it's important for us to know as a parent not to forget ourselves. Remember that you cannot pour out of an empty cup. And in order for you to be able to best support your child, you need to be in optimum form too, physically, mentally, and emotionally. It's important to give yourself grace. Speak, seek, and take steps when you are struggling. Make use of respite support. Take regular breaks to unwind and recharge. Reach out to and connect with other parents in a similar situation as you. Create a network of support around yourself, of people who give you advice, offer you value, or just even listen and empathize with you. No, not everybody will have a solution to your problem. But sometimes they say a problem shared is half solved. It just takes someone that listens to you, that, they in that moment of time, they validated your feeling. Whatever it is that was upsetting you, another pair of ears have heard it. Yeah? And as moms especially, mom guilt will not let you do anything for yourself. Sometimes I look at my nails and I'm like, oh my goodness, what has happened to you? You didn't even, so take time. Even if it's, sometimes these days I lock myself in the toilet for 10 minutes, just so that I can scroll through my phone in peace. Whatever that looks like for you, going to get your eyebrows shredded, painting your toes, whatever self-care looks like for you, please give yourself permission to do that for yourself. Nobody can do that for you. All of these tips is what you can implement by your own self. Because if not, the results will be, it'll be evidenced in your children, because they'll only have sat there and you'll be screaming and shouting for no reason. They've carried the cup and dropped it there, but you're already screaming and shouting because, you're functioning in autopilot. It's not sustainable. It's not sustainable. And in this present day now, I love to, travel because, I'll think when I'm in another country, I'm not thinking about my problems at home. And just before that flight takes off, I am thinking about oh my goodness, what type of a mother are you? You have left your children at home. How dare you be going off to have this much fun and you've left your children? But what good am I to them if I'm in the same room as them but not present in that room? What good am I to them if I'm screaming and shouting over little things? So give yourself what you need. It doesn't have to be a trip in the plane. Or even if it's going to hide and eating your food in peace so that you don't have to share, do that for yourself, please. Yes. Give yourself what you need. It's honestly very, very important. You can't continue to give and give and give. It's not sustainable. It truly isn't sustainable. I'll take the next slide, please. So these are some of the key points to remember. And for our children, because I believe a lot of us here would either be parents or caregivers to, children with needs. And I put all these key points because they are things that I wish I'd done better on my journey with my children. Kevin especially. So when it comes to early intervention, is me and my husband's first child. So a lot of things we did, he was showing signs of we didn't seek help for. Number one, because, ignorance, we didn't know. And number two, because of a lot of cultural things. Oh, boys are very slow, they don't speak fast. So we kept this boy at home, even at 3, he wasn't saying anything. But boys are slow, so that was our answer for it. Oh, it was so hard to potty train. Oh no, boys are slow, so they don't do those type of things on time. If there is at all anything, and he was born here, we lived in a society where there's health visitors, there's community nurses, there are people that can advise you, but they are not going to come and knock on your door to offer you any advice. So no matter what, I'm a health visitor now, and I share because I see the difference between us as Black and ethnic minority people and our counterparts. I will see children for 2-year health check. The child is not talking. They won't even look at you for 2 seconds, but the parents are not worried. And I would say to parents, okay, I have this concern. Your child has scored quite low in speech. Can I please refer them? They'll be like, no, 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 no. Even my brother was slow to talk, but he talks very well now. Even they have all the excuses. But you will see our white counterpart. The child is not even one. They've come to you to say, my child is not doing this, my child is not doing that, because they're getting the support. They know what waiting, and I would even say to parents, the waiting list I live in London, the waiting list is 2 years. Let me refer your child. If your child turns 4 and they're speaking, don't go to the appointment. But let me do that referral now. And I can tell you with my hands on the chest, a lot of our parents will still say no. One of the parents says, oh, I don't want it to be on my child's record that he has a disability. There's still so much stigma around this. They don't, no, I don't want this type of thing on my child's record. Please don't refer them. And as we know, I can't make a referral unless the parent consents. I can't make you consent, but I can see. And as parents, we know these things. We can see. But there's such a fear. And the biggest gift I gave myself is ridding myself of the fear and the worry of other people's opinion. I promise you, if that's the only thing you take away from here today, because we put so much effort into what other people would think about me, what other people would think about my child, and you leave your child to suffer, because this is all I can call it. If you have a condition, if you have a headache, you take paracetamol because it will make you feel better. But if your child is struggling with something and you wouldn't get them the help for it, that alone in itself is neglect. And oftentimes we're not doing it for ourselves. We're doing it because of people that don't even care. The next point is have an understanding of your child's need. You don't have to be like me and go and do a whole degree in learning disabilities nursing. But now in these days, there's easy access to information. When Kevin got his diagnosis, my husband was here. We had to go to the library because we didn't even have a computer at home. It was that long ago. There wasn't even Wi-Fi at home at those points. But now information is easily accessible to you. Please use it. There's lots more parents now sharing openly. This is honestly, because keeping up with Instagram and TikTok is hard work, but I know how desperately I wanted to see another person that just looked like me, have a reality that looks like mine. Because I thought it was only happening to me. It's only my child that is not talking. It's only my child that is not sitting for 5 minutes. It's only my child that they're calling me every day from school to come and pick up. It's only my child that even in primary school, they've told him not to come to this school anymore because they cannot meet his needs. But sometimes having that relatability that is happening to somebody else, so you too, your child too does not sleep through the night, that alone, they've not solved your problem in any way. But that relatability gives you a sense of ease. It doesn't take away the issue, but it gives you ease. It says collaborative working with professionals. I touched on this already, but remember that you are the leader in this team. You tell them, this is what my child needs. How do we get it? And fight. Because sometimes they will say no. In London now, EHCP is liquid gold. It's almost like the first thing they want to say is no. But you know your child needs it and you need to have the strength to fight. Community integration. This was a big one for me because I didn't want my child to go to special school. Like, that school for children with disabilities. No, that's not where I want my child to go, because that will compound my fear. And people will say, how come your child is going to that school? Oh, don't put my child on this big red bus where it's all the children that have this type of needs that go on this bus. But give your child what they need. Don't be afraid to take your child out because of what another person will say. If my child is on the floor screaming and shouting, it's either I leave him there to, let it run its course. But we don't want to do that. We're screaming and shouting and pinching the child and, doing all this because of everybody else that's looking at you. Let them. It's true. You don't want to take your child out because everybody is going to say, how come you're the one that has the badly behaved child? Please rid yourself of the worry of what people think. You would live a happier life, stress-free, because what you think is your problem. A lot of things that our child does, even though we're not 100% happy with it, is sometimes that's not what has bigger priority. Is what somebody else will think about that thing is bigger priority on your mind. Because you love your child, it's unconditional. What your child is, the love is unconditional, but it's the worry about what people think that takes precedence. I think the last bit is teaching life skills. Please take time to teach these skills. Please you need the patience of a saint when it comes to our children, but please invest the time. Please invest the time. Hand over hand feeding, start there. Or let them even, do finger foods, little things that your child can do for themselves. Please bank on it. As I say, a lot of questions that people still ask me, how is Kevin able to go on public transport by himself? How is he able to go to college by himself? How is he able to go out by himself? Because I was crazy enough to teach him. I didn't know at that point when I was teaching him, even if he would learn it, but I was crazy enough to want to teach him. When he was starting college was the first time he learned travel training on public transport. And we spent all summer this is the bus that goes to your college. Only this bus. No other buses. I don't care. All these buses come to this stop, but only this bus is the one that goes. And please only take this bus. And we did that for months. And one day I was just crazy enough to say, I'm going to follow him and see if he will get the correct bus. When he did, I sat and cried. I sat and I cried. After he got on the bus, I got home behind him. He went upstairs straight because that's what we always do. But I sat downstairs because the next thing was, will he get off at the right stop? And when he did, I ran out of the bus and hugged him. People thought I was mad. I'm crazy about my child because he's my future. So please be crazy enough to teach these skills. Even if you don't think it's achievable. If you teach it and it didn't work, don't tell anybody. It's between you and your child. But still be crazy enough to teach it. Honestly, our children are capable of so much more. We just have to have the patience to teach. I feel like I've waffled on for so long now. But if you leave, don't leave here with anything that I've said. If I've said a whole lot that you don't relate to, please take away the fact that it's easier for you to just rid yourself of the worry of people's opinion. It doesn't pay you, it doesn't feed you, it will do you nothing other than steal your peace. Live your life, your truth, your way. If your child is only eating chicken and chips every day, at least they are fed. At least they're fed. A lot of stress we give ourselves because of other people that are not your business. And that person that is always calling you to remind you of the things your child is not doing, better mute them. Honestly, give yourself peace. And please, your life doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. It's already beautiful just the way it is. Thank you so much. Thank you. You need me to sit down? Okay. You're going to put me in the hot seat now. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. So it's time for questions now. I would like Lexi to come off stage. Again, please come off stage. Thank you very much.
Do you want me to move to that side? So I'm going to sit here. Thank you, sis. Thank you, sis.
So can we have Miss Olivia, please? The only man here. Please let's appreciate him. Come up stage. Thank you very much. So if you have any questions, please let me see your hands up. Yes, please.
First of all, thank you so much for that. That was just amazing.
Thank you.
So I have a question for anyone can take it really. What would you say is your most, you talked about it, but I don't want people to leave here with just the doom and gloom. Let people also remember that our children, you touched on it, our children are capable of so much more. So what has been your most rewarding aspect of your parenting journey, and how has it shaped your perspective? So the positive side.
I think for me, it's just the importance of being intentional about joy. You have to choose joy like your life depends on it, because in life, there's so many stressors, bills, there's bills to pay, there's this to do, there's work to go to. There's so many things that are natural stressors that you don't really have control over, but you have control over how you feel about it. And please just, for me, it's just the importance of choosing joy, because in that it overrides everything else. I don't know if you wanted to give your another answer.
Thank you very much. Anyone? Please come forward. Let's see him. We don't have a rush. Let's come forward. Thank you very much.
Hey, it's not necessarily a question, but it's just to say that I'm an OT that has worked in a private school for autistic children. I've also worked for Centre for Bedfordshire Council as an occupational therapist. And one thing I really want to impress is that often the Western world doesn't speak about health or learning disabilities in a holistic framework. And I think that one thing that Lavinia pointed out earlier is the importance of looking at your child holistically, and not just holistically as in terms of, their community and so forth, but holistically as in giving your child the opportunity to experience joy. Because one thing that happens with autistic children or children with learning disabilities is that their social skills are impacted. And so when they're younger, the opportunities that we as neurotypical people get, we have opportunities to play with our friends, and there's so much child development that happens through those playful experiences that actually neurodivergent children aren't getting. So one thing I would advocate for everybody, every parent of a child that has a neurodivergent, every parent of a child that has a neurodivergent child, is for you to encourage your child to get recreational experiences that actually get them to experience joy. Just like the video was saying, she took her son to Monaco, and he was so happy. He was so happy because that was something he was interested in. Really, I just want to impress the importance of playful and joyful experiences in helping a child, a neurodivergent child, to experience life skills and experience joy.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Do we have more questions? It's a good opportunity.
It's not really a question, but it's just following from what Elodie just said. During the session with the professionals, I think Penny mentioned that there was a child in her class that was moved up, maybe I don't know, but was moved up because he had better skills in certain areas. And my question is really, is that the right thing to do? Because not only do these children need those skills to be encouraged and to be moved up, supported, but they do have, they lack the personal skills. So it follows from what you just said, that you don't necessarily take them from that environment. You move them, you work with them, you create experiences for them so that they don't miss out on those social skills. So I don't know if I got what you said wrong, but maybe I just wanted to ask, is that a norm, or is it just in specific cases that you see that? Yeah.
It's not known, but it's just something I figured in him, something I saw in him, and I felt, before I moved him up, I did have different targets for him, and he was passing those targets. He was advancing, and that kind of prompted me to speak to the professionals to come and assess him.
Because the first thing they will ask me, why do I think he's able to go further? And if I can show them the target I set for him and it's going above and beyond it, then they're able to release my request. But it's not the same field. He has everything. But the thing is, what I notice is when he's not challenged, his behavior changes. Then he starts eating his friends because he needs something more challenging for him, to stimulate more. So he will get that more in the preschool than because I work with 2-year-olds. Even though he is like 2 and he's 3 now, preschool start from 3 to 4. So his brain works like a 5-year-old already. So.
Thank you. And then all I just wanted to say is that this has been really encouraging. Not necessarily just for parents of children who are neurodivergent, but some of us also work with children who are neurodivergent. And any of that I'm sorry, I believe of her. When I met her son for the first time, I fell in love with him. And I didn't even know her story. I just I just love this little boy. But then when I read his story, it was so compelling that, to be honest with you, he is a star in my eyes. He's a champion. And I did everything to encourage him. His questions, I asked him what happened at school, and he's very, very busy. He's a very, very intelligent child. And I'm so proud of him. I came back from Nigeria for this bed. It's very important for us to learn things because, if we're working with children, let's just give them that chance and that opportunity. Because of him, I actually took an autistic course because, there are these children out there that need people like us to help them. And I'm just encouraging us as adults, mothers, let's do whatever we can to help these children because it's not just the parents, as we say in Africa, it takes a village to raise a child. Let's all support these children. They're beautiful, they're talented. But if we don't support them, they will not be supported. So that's why I'm encouraging.
Thank you. We can take over.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. I really appreciate you, Sister Amy, for your wonderful and successful program that you organized this evening. And I'm so pleased that on the behalf of everybody, professionals that are here, I appreciate you all. And we are really blessed with all your comments, everything, and support. I'm here on the behalf of my friend that have 2 autistic children. She's not here, but she's online. I just want to ask, apart from school, because in school she's not getting any support she really needs. Like she's supposed to have like extra care package. She's not getting it from the school. Sometimes she tries to speak with someone and nobody is there to give her the support, extra support she needs. So I want to ask, where can she get this support? She's from Germany. She's a German lady, I mean, but she lives here and she's married to a Nigerian. So you can see that, a big difference among this whole situation. It's quite challenging for her. She just put a message for me and ask where can she get help apart from local school or city council or whatever. I don't know.
Does the child have an EHCP?
Yeah.
Okay. So the EHCP is an education, health, and care plan. So it's meant to cover the proper basis in terms of the areas of the child's need. So I'm not sure what she means by because she wasn't specific in terms of the support she's looking for. Because obviously, if you're looking for like networking or befriending with other moms, not quite from the EHCP.
Yeah, like that for the network, I've given her some like contacts like Amy and others that you can.
So do you know what type of support that it is that she was looking? Is it for her child in terms of?
Child.
So is it like respite?
Okay. Like it cannot really, she can't do anything she wants.
Let me just tell you.
Okay.
Just to add a bit, because
she actually mentioned it to me. What is happening is she's not aware of the benefits, like social services, access to
kind of respite support, all those things that she needs, and also in terms of provision that for the child. The child lives in a different part of Cambridge and goes to school at a different part of Cambridge, but she doesn't even have transport. So it's all those kind of things, getting the help that she needs to adequately support that child. So just to make sure that she has information, maybe signpost her on where she can get the help. And of course, the healthcare aspect as well, going out to address. So it's what is the help she needs from the healthcare and from the social.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah, so if in Cambridge County Council, we go what we call child and family assessment. So for me, that would be the first start for her. So she would need to reach out to me. I'm happy for her to connect with me. I'll give her the details and their email addresses, their phone numbers, and she will contact them. And then social workers will come out and assess the family, assess the child needs, and then they will provide the resources and the information that she needs. So that's the first step for her to do that. And then also in Cambridgeshire as well, we go what we call SKIP, which is the Special Education Information Point. So they also provide resources for parents that have children with neurodivergence. So what you do is to, again, I need to provide the email addresses and the contact, I have to contact them. And then what they can do is to register the child, provide what we call the card for the child. So that's like an SS for the child to have social skills, in special relationship, during holidays, during half time, the child has access to join other children, join other moms, they will go out on the bed. So it could be swimming there, it could be bowling, anything just to build the child's social skills and to encourage his personal skills in the child. So the mom can also have respite while the child is having that access as well. So that's another one. Also in Cambridgeshire, we have respite services. So again, after she does the child family assessment, she will be given the opportunity to have respite. So she needs a break for a week, she needs a break for a day, she wants to go away her friends in the evening. They will provide care for the children, and they will support her. So there are different resources available there. But I'm glad she's spoken out as the first step. So I'm happy to provide all this information to her, and then she will seek support. Globally as well, we also have support in the UK as well. There are other charities that support parents raising children. They are also, I think my friend who is an autism spoke earlier, she talked about WAVE. It's a charity organization that supports children as well as their parents to get involved in activities that will promote personal skills, promote social skills, and also to give a break to the parents as well. So there are resources out there we just need to seek out for them. So yeah, I will provide this information to you.
Can I just add something really quickly? I just wanted to add something that may be a bit obvious, but to me, because I didn't go through the system, actually wasn't that obvious like right away, which is when you have an EHCP, there is a caseworker dedicated to your child. So that caseworker can serve as your number one contact, that can serve as sort of a bridge to other. She has a social worker. There is a caseworker. I'm sorry, my apologies.
Support workers.
Right. So if you can just, I actually didn't know who my caseworker was until recently, and I had some questions, so I just called the county, and I was just like, I need to know the name of the person. Could I please have the email and the phone number of the person who's assigned to my child's EHCP? Who's there's a person there who's in charge, a caseworker that is dedicated, to that EHCP, that's attached to that EHCP. There is a person, and that person can be a bridge between you and the services that you need as a parent, and the services that your child needs. So I would start there. That's a great place to start. Find out who that person is, and that just takes like a phone call. Find out who that person is and ask all the questions that you want. It's their job to do that.
Thank you. I have a quick question because she said it's time to do something, or I don't know.
My question goes to Mrs. Tola. Yeah. But because I relate to you, my husband is very effective, I just want to know about after the diagnosis of autism for your child and the diagnosis of What life looked like at home was like at home. Is it peaceful? How did you get your husband to live a peaceful life?
So, I think as women, if you have a vision for what you want your home life to be, you have an insight to what you want the environment to be, then you can be the curator of that. I think I've said already about life stresses happen whether you like them to or not, but your reaction to it matters. Our children do model who we are, how we react to things, the words we say, all of these things are children model. So if you have that in mind, you can be what you want to see. I don't know a better way. I think in terms of how I got my husband, like I use his own individual, I'm my own individual. So I don't think we can make or not make each other do things, but parenting, especially children with additional needs, takes conscious effort. It really takes you both being committed to the cause, and that can be really extremely difficult, especially if you have outside forces, because as a parent, the love for your child is unconditional. You love them even before you knew anything that they would come to be. But sometimes it's all these extra forces that, can, steer away the joy that you felt when you felt pregnant or when you first held your child in your arms. It's sometimes not, the battle is not against, your child or the struggles. Sometimes it's all of these other things. And, it's really, the onus is on you. Nobody can do that work for you. Yeah, so things that stress you out, people that stress you out, you can be intentional about what you consume, even online, things like that. If you find content that you watch it and then you feel horribly sick about yourself, why are you watching it? If you have people that you speak to them and you are crying, you can't sleep that night, why are you speaking to them? So these are things that you need to, only you can do for yourself. Yeah.
One of the things one of the points that came up in my mind based on the information that was divulged here is to say that there are a lot of organizations that I didn't know about. So I think it'll be a very useful information repository as part of this initiative to have maybe some sort of a sheet with links to some of these organizations and just a brief summary of some of the benefits that are attached to those organizations that people can easily access to, because sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Mm-hmm. And if it's something that people can go to as a resource, I think this will amplify the value that will be derived from being part of this community, which is why I say if we can bridge those gaps and that information asymmetry and just make sure that this is easily accessible to everyone, it'll be exceedingly helpful. And also the other thing that came to mind is a lot of the professional assistance that is available from my observation, and I could be mistaken in this, please do correct me if I'm wrong. A lot of the professional work is centered towards, say, for example, the teachers and insofar as their work with the children is concerned, or the affected children, the neurodivergent children is concerned. But one of the things that I have not observed as being obvious is perhaps frameworks that might be in place to facilitate that understanding. Say, for example, when you're working with parents that have got neurotypical children, or parents or children who are neurotypical, to say, for example, mitigate against things like bullying that emanates from maybe a lack of understanding of what the affected child might be going through. What general education is there? How can we systematize this and make it part of, say, either curriculum or extracurricular activities that are just typically available in a school setting, so that children are more understanding? Because as children, I can also appreciate how they interrelate. If someone is just is neurotypical and does not understand what another child might be going through or the behaviors that they're exhibiting, you might have issues that come from an innocent standpoint, where there might be issues of bullying, or maybe they might move away from affected children. how can this be systematized in a school setting so that that education is right there across the board, is pervasive and accessible to children and parents of children who are not affected, so that the understanding is right, is pervasive. Yeah, just to make it ubiquitous.
Thank you. We're running out of time now.
Thank you very much. We're running out of time, so we'll just take just 2 more, please. I'm going to hold the mic. Yeah, that's the instruction. I have to hold the mic because of time. Thank you, Stephen.
Hello, everybody. Eniola, well done. This is a great initiative. It's lovely to hear from all of you. Well, my question is to you, Tola. Well done.
Thank you.
You're a beautiful mom. Your family is beautiful. I follow you. But kindness is a really big thing for me. I want to ask you, how would you rate kindness, especially in the Black community, knowing that you have the neurodivergent child? How would you rate kindness?
I think sometimes culture has a really big role to play, and I've noticed that with the platform we have, especially when it kind of fell on the Nigeria or let's say Africa in general, sometimes you get comments that would hit you deep in your soul. And for the most part, what I've seen is that it comes from a place of ignorance. Because I don't know if people here understand Yoruba. Some people will say, or things like that. And that's why I feel like we all have to be a part of the change that we want to see. And it will happen with education and raising awareness. Because sometimes, as I said, some of these comments, it's not out of they just want to spite you or upset you. It's just pure ignorance. And, for us as parents as well, we need to not just educate ourselves, but educate our communities. Like my dad visited recently, and I had to put efforts into teaching him, because some of these things are deep-rooted in the way we were even raised. But what we can do is to empower, to support, to educate our communities. It's not going to happen overnight.
Thank you very much. Please, 30 seconds.
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you so much for the program here. Thank you so much. It's really been educative and really given a lot of awareness about neurodivergency in general. My question is to Mr. Badu. I wanted to ask, you said your son is 19,
yes, sir.
And I just wanted to know how was that transition from the child care, from his plan as a child, full transition to adulthood. Because I'm saying that because I'm giving an example. My daughter, just because she's 16, I can't access camps, and because she's not yet an adult, I can't access adult services. So I'm just in a grade where there's no really support at this time. So we just have to put in place any personal plans from me as a family, from us as a family. So I just wanted to know, how was that transition, changing from childcare to adults? Yeah. And also about when you talk about the culture, our culture, how it influences us. Actually, I'm doing research on that, how culture influences the Black community to getting access to autism services. So I just wanted to know how tips that you could put in place to encourage people not to adhere to the cultural beliefs that they already have. Try to
Okay, thanks. So I'm going to answer this from my own story because I can't get my story wrong, and it might not be applicable to everyone, but I like to answer from that place because you can take from it what you need. So when it came to Kevin and transitioning, and when he was in secondary school, he struggles with in terms of education. So academics is a real struggle for him. And as an African parent, where when we were brought up, if you're not a doctor, you're a lawyer or an engineer, then you're a failure. There's no in between. But with regards to my son, I know that those are not the pathways for him. And me and my husband had to sit down and come to terms with that. And it's not an easy terms to come with, but that was what needed to happen. So, you know, instead of the horror of making him sit through GCSEs, we decided to not have him do it. And, you know, it was about us then looking at avenues. Okay, if you don't do GCSEs, what else can you do? And we had to look for colleges. He is in college now, and he did not sit GCSEs. I'll tell you that for free. So sometimes our way is set on a particular way that we don't care to look about at what other opportunities are available. I could have made him sit GCSEs and traumatized him in the process because he is not academic to that level. But it's, you know, supporting him with what he can do. Kevin can follow instructions very easily, and, you know, he likes to, because it's very specific about what he likes to eat, he makes his things, he eats his things a certain way. And that's why he's doing a catering and hospitality course now, because that's where his strength lies. So sometimes as parents, you know, we try and impose what we feel is right, what we feel our children should be doing, when the opposite really is what we should be doing. So for that lady that asked that brilliant question, I just want you to know that it's not a one-size-fits-all. Look at your child critically and what they need. And when you mentioned about camps, Kevin did get camp way before he was 18. So I'm not sure about them not taking your child on, because there is camps for children and young people, and there is for adult services. So I'm pretty sure your child can still be supported by camps.
Yeah, but it's at that age where there's transition, so like 17. So they expected him to have started the process when she was like 15, because the long 15 days.
Yes.
So we are going on that 14 days when she was 16, and now like they can't continue. So that's what I mean, that transition.
I think I can't give specific which that all I just know is that there is children's services and there is adult services, and I suppose in the meantime while she's still waiting, they can be able to advise you on what you can do in this time. Or yeah, I suppose and it's not cheap, I guess. Yeah. Or you can access privately.
So sorry, we really run out of time. Please, I only have one person to call. Yes, so we're really sorry. So I want to say thank you to Tola and thank you so very much. Thank you to Lavina. Thank you thank you to Liberty. God bless you all. These of us went to carry on this journey. Thank you so much. I want to call up you again.
Thank you so much for having us.
Please let's appreciate them. Thank you very much. Thank you guys. Can I call on the last person? That's Sarah, because of time. We're ready to finish 4 o'clock, so please. Thank you very much. Thank you. So Sarah, please just take it. Thank you so very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Dila.
Thank you. I'd like to appreciate everyone here. I'd like to appreciate the parents, the experts, and most especially my friend Eniola. Well done. This is, I know I've known Eniola for a while, and this has been a very wonderful and encouraging event. So well done, and congratulations on your new book. My name is Bila Irele, and I'm not going to take a lot of your time. I represent Soteria Consulting, and we are a DEIB, that's Diversity, Equity, Inclusion and Belonging consulting firm. We help organizations actually transform their workplaces or workforces by a diversity, equity, inclusion and belonging lens. And I wanted us to just take a minute, close your eyes and imagine the future. Imagine the future as you know when your kids are grown and they have to go into the workplace. Imagine they have to be like the Prime Minister, they have to be like working for BP, whatever organization, and think about it. And then come back and let me know if the organizations are actually ready for them. Do we think the organizations are ready for them? I don't think so. I think that we have a lot of work to do. I know that organizations have in the past organized themselves with technology, they've organized themselves with processes and procedures, and people have become like the second class or the afterthoughts in organizations. But a lot of things are changing now. talents are being very scarce because the next generation coming are basically not accustomed to the way the workplace and the workforce is. And now is the time for us to step in as advocates. Now it's time for us to step in as champions with the lived experiences of diversity, gender diversity, ethnic diversity, neurodiversity, and make that change in the workplace. And at Soteria, we actually help organizations to unlock that potential. We are going to organizations transform the workplaces, transform their processes, transform their procedures, so that people like our children that are neurodiverse, people like our children that are from ethnic minority, ethnic backgrounds, or global minority or global majority, as we call ourselves, can actually get into the workplace. So I am here to actually be an ally for you guys, to every one of us. So if you want to speak to me, I'm at the back, and I can tell you more because there's no time. But if you want to speak to me, I'm at the back. What we do is we come into your organization, do a lot of training, look at the processes, auditing, and if you need help for that, just meet me at the back. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. So for the closing remarks, we're going to be having the convener of this powerful event, and that is Mrs. Eniola Oyegule. Please, let's appreciate her one more time. Thank you so much. That's the brain behind this initiative. God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. God is the brain behind the initiative, but we thank God. I'm not going to waste. I really want to thank you all for coming. Like, I'm just amazed by the quality of everything that has gone on, from the speakers to the questions, and also the engagement happening online. Thank you so, so much. I'm so grateful. This is just the beginning, that's why we asked. This is just the beginning. We are going to be back. Maybe not here, but we'll be back. So just look out for us. Follow all our social media handles, the Champion Speaks. We have 2 consulting tables. We have 15 minutes. If you want to meet Beulah from Soteria, you can just meet her at the back to talk about the services, because like you said, workplace is very important. Our children are going to work. If you have questions that you've not had the opportunity to ask, please meet any of our panelists. And we also have a parenting coach, Blessing, who you heard before. She has a table at the back. You can meet with her. She can tell you a lot about her services. Next one, we have 15 minutes to leave this place. For God to help us. See you next time. God bless you. Thank you so much. And that was the gift. So much. Thank you. Thank you. No, I can sleep. I can relax now. I can sleep. Thank you so much.